What if I told you that help was just a phone call away? Learn more about a simple cash-out refinance today by visiting thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
The Colts VIP tailgate is all you can eat in an open bar for 3 hours before kickoff for all Colts home games by Bullseye Event Group. The Colts VIP tailgate is the official tailgate for Colts fans on game days. Located at the Bullseye Event Center directly across the street from Lucas Oil Stadium. Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com for Colts VIP tailgates. All you can eat food by Food Network chef Aaron May. Bullseye Event Group offers indoor and outdoor climate controlled lounge seating for a VIP tailgate experience. All ages welcome. Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com for tickets today.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for their e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com/Peaks-Club. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Diamonds Direct's unbelievable zero-interest finance offer is coming to a close, but you have until this Sunday to take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing on any purchase. Now more than ever, it's the smartest way to buy. You can get that engagement ring or fabulous piece of designer jewelry and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. This amazing offer is good through this weekend only. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get all the details, including special Sunday hours, at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Hey, it's JMV for your 14 Central Indiana Joe Childers run CarX locations. There's one near you. Full service auto repair specialist with brakes, tires, engine alignments, exhaust, oil changes, all within their repertoire. And by the way, the JMV specials coming up for you. $109.99, lifetime brake pads per axle, and save $200 on a set of 4 select Continental tires. Your 14 Central Indiana Joe Childers run CarX locations. There's one near you. To find it, CarX.com today.
Hey there, it's Jake Query, and it's a big Saturday night upcoming of racing at the Tom Wood Group Indianapolis Speedrome, powered by Lincoln Tech. It's a full night of championship racing on the historic 5th Mile Oval for stocks, legends, and junior fast carts, and many late models, capped off by the always exciting, wild, and unpredictable Figure 8. The Indianapolis Speedrome features family-friendly racing action, great food, free parking, and outrageous fun, all happening at the corner of Brookville Road and Kitley Avenue on Indy's southeast side. Location information, ticket prices, and more, all at speedrome.com.
Midterm elections are just around the corner, and you might have questions like, what should I be doing with my money now? Or, what could happen in the stock market if my side doesn't win? Join Edelman Financial Engines on Tuesday, October 11th at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern for our brand new webinar, The Elections in Your Portfolio, Separating Fact from Fiction. You can register now at efewebinar.com. You'll learn how the midterm election results can impact the stock market based on decades of market data. And you'll learn how to help position your portfolio for the elections and beyond. Don't miss this important and timely webinar. Join us for The Elections and Your Portfolio, Separating Fact from Fiction, on Tuesday, October 11th at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. There's no cost to attend and no obligation. Register now at efewebinar.com. That's efewebinar.com. Edelman Financial Engines. From here forward.
Georgia Street Tailgates presented by Peterman Brothers are back. Drop by this Sunday from 10 to 1 for food, music, and more. Free entry. All ages welcome.
The big fall sales here at Sundown Gardens. 20 to 50% off nursery items and selected perennials. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road. SundownGardens.com.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
And again, it's picked off. It's Darius Leonard. A pick six for the Maniac. Touchdown, INDY. Yes, sir.
Jake over the
Stretches. Double time. Miles Turner. Yeah.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome in. We're live today. It's a Bud Light Blue Friday at Kilroy's downtown, and people are already telling me to go after the pepperoni sticks. We'll probably have to do that a little bit later on. I'm going to look for you coming up now and a little bit later on because, in fact, this is going to be a big giveaway day. Here's why. Olivia just told me, in fact, we have 7 pair of Titans Colts tickets to give away. 7 pair while we're here today. So we'll do that a little bit later on in the show, and all you have to do is come on out. Kilroy's downtown. Man, have some of the great food, as I mentioned. Have yourself an ice cold Bud Light and sign up for your opportunity to win tickets to the Titans and Colts game coming up on Sunday. And we got 7 pair to give away while we're here. Also, a couple of favorites via Twitter or just in show in general. If you listen to the JMV Takeover every Saturday night, you know about BT doing his exploits. BT is in the house. Jimmy is in the house as well. So we'll fire it up as we have right now. The video is up inside the lounge via YouTube Live if you want to watch that. Hello to you as well. We'll be drinking ice cold Bud Light on the air as we normally do. And the other thing I wanted to get to, I know a lot of you had struggled getting the app. I think everything is clear on that right now, right? The app up and running. I know that there are a variety of ways and so many to go into right now that it'd be difficult for me to do it without taking all that time, but there are a variety of ways that you can get us. Let's say, for example, Skivvies was telling me earlier today that the app was struggling for him. Others, however, were telling me that the app was good for them. So there are a variety of ways in which you can find us here via the app or the stream. Just search it. If you're struggling with the app, let me know so I can get the folks that are much smarter than me on that, and we can make sure everything is good to go. So you got that. You got HD radio if you're listening to us in a car that has that capability. Mentioned, too, YouTube Live is always a good place because not only can you go to YouTube Live and be a part of the conversation regarding the Colts and the Titans, for example, or last night with Tua and the injury situation that was incredibly scary, and now a lot is being made. That's what you kind of have. You got everybody starting to play the role of doctor on Twitter, and then you got that coming into view as far as that being a hot button topic from last night on Thursday Night Football, which we'll get to coming up in a minute. But yeah, you get that conversation. You get all sorts of conversations that I join into while I'm doing the show here via YouTube Live inside the lounge. So we would love to see you in there, or 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. That also works. So maybe some good news, but first the bad news. Julian Blackmon has been ruled out, the safety, for Sunday's matchup. And again, what is a super premium must-win situation on Sunday? I'll get to that as I talked about it yesterday in a minute. It's a super premium must-win situation. No Julian Blackmon coming up on Sunday, but Shaquille Leonard has not been ruled out. He is listed as questionable. And those that cover the Colts on a daily basis are kind of got the feeling like me that maybe he'll give it a shot. I saw what Frank Reich said. He's not going to be 100%, but if he is in the capability of being able to help this team, then we want to see him out there. So we'll find out, I'm sure, coming up tomorrow, and then some coming up on Sunday, whether or not Shaquille Leonard will make his Colts 2022 season debut. I do. I want to see him out there, and especially with the way the defense played this past weekend, I want to see if even him under 100%. Because we saw that a year ago, right, with injuries, and we saw what he did. We saw that dynamic and the influence, the effect that he had on that team a year ago, defense-wise. So playing off of that win over Kansas City and what the defense did against the Chiefs, I thought played really well this past Sunday. Love to see him if he's able to get out there and make that debut in what is a very important game for the Colts this season. Again, I know some of you are going to say it's week number 4. How important can it be? Well, you go back, and they tied Houston. They lost in Jacksonville. This would be your first win inside your own division, and you're going to have to start stacking those up. You really got to make up for that tie in Houston at some point. You'd love to make up for that loss in Jacksonville. Seriously, you put yourself in a tremendously bad spot if you lose this game coming up on Sunday. And in the process, as far as the fan base is concerned, and really those that cover it, you kind of go back to square one. There are a couple of different dynamics at work here. One is the fact that you have to just to maintain. You have to because it's a division rival. And we know how important those are. We know how important it is if this team has any designs on making the postseason. How are you going to work your way in there? Well, how you're going to work your way in there is by winning your division. And we know how important it is to the owner for the owner to have a home playoff game. And you know what happens when you win the division. The fact this team hasn't won a division since 2014. And maybe even more so than anything else. As I bring up Jim Irsay, it is his thought on where this team is right now compared to where he expects it to be. And all that offseason conversation, and I called it being smitten. Not so much jealous. Maybe it is a little bit of jealousy. Green-eyed jealousy. A little bit of smittenness on this Tennessee Titans team that has been worked and constructed a lot like what the Colts have. But certainly we have seen far more success, far better results, especially in the past 2 years. 1 seed a year ago, I know it ended really bad for Tennessee at home against Cincinnati, but their body of work during the regular season earned them a 1 seed in the AFC. Pretty remarkable, considering how we view the AFC South. Considering how we view Tennessee, considering Tennessee has a quarterback that if you were going to take a straw poll of those that cover the NFL and other NFL markets, probably near the bottom of the list would be Ryan Tannehill, his contract and his skill set at quarterback that anybody would want to see quarterback in a team that they cover. Or fans would want to see quarterbacking the team that they like. And you ask that question in Nashville, and it probably comes back, I don't know, maybe over 50-50, maybe below 50-50, just how much confidence they have in Tannehill getting them to that final level. And again, they're in a win-now mode, just like the Colts. The problem is for the Colts haven't shown that they're capable of winning now. There's no evidence that they're able to win now. Last weekend, not so much last year. 2 years ago with Phillip Rivers, okay, going to the postseason. But the evidence has been clear in Nashville. Now, part of the problem that they're going on right now in Tennessee is this, and we talked yesterday to John Glennon, who for SI.com covers the Tennessee Titans. Part of that is this. It was really weird considering what took place, right? So you had those wide receivers, and they all wanted raises. And this is going to happen further down the road to Michael Pittman Jr., so Colts fans might as well go ahead and prepare for that. But what was interesting about when you had wide receivers like DK Metcalf, you saw what happened to Marquise Brown. He got traded, right, from Baltimore to Arizona. Terry McLaurin wanted a new deal. You had these wide receivers that wanted more money. You saw Tyreek Hill was going to want more money, so what did Kansas City do? They shipped him out. You saw him play. You saw him, 160 receiving yards last night? Always pretty impressive. And you saw really last week without Tyreek Hill, for the first time for Kansas City, you saw just how much that he is needed. First 2 weeks, you really didn't see that. Whether you were talking about their win over Arizona or their win over the Chargers, you really didn't see it. But you saw it come to life, I thought, last week. Did you not? And Tyreek Hill being missing from that Andy Reid-led offense. That said, you saw Marquise Brown get traded from Baltimore to Arizona, and John Robinson, who runs the Tennessee Titans, also felt it was necessary not to pay at the level in which one of their defining wide receivers, that being A.J. Brown, wanted. And there appeared to be some animosity, certainly from the player, as you read, leading up to that trade. So during the NFL draft, Tennessee decided to do what I think, especially if you're somebody looking for that level of wide receiver. If you're somebody like me that really does embrace that position, who embraces the importance of that position in this era of the NFL, it did kind of sideswipe you, didn't it? And it wasn't even so much with Marquise Brown. That to me wasn't as much. You want to know why? Because Baltimore, are they close? Are they a better team in the AFC? Yes. But for the past 2 years, Tennessee has seemingly been right there. Yeah, Baltimore's in now, don't get me wrong. But Tennessee is also right there. But Tennessee is more right there than Baltimore was. Tennessee's been on the doorstep just 2 years ago. Surprisingly enough, but on the doorstep nonetheless. So now even if you go out and you trade away one of the elite wide receivers in the NFL, and then you go out and draft a rookie wide receiver to take his place, you're going to go through some growing pains. And part of the issue is with the Titans, because there is always a lack of higher level confidence in the quarterback. You even got, some of that lack of confidence in this offense, even when A.J. Brown was there. And now you're especially getting it without A.J. Brown. And now the different direction they're going. In another year on the body and the tread off the tire that is Derrick Henry. I'm telling you, one of these days, that's why it's so important for the Colts to now recognize that you have to start paying attention and taking care of this. Because one of these days, we're going to be talking about the Colts wide receiver position, much in the same fashion as we talked about, or everybody has talked about Tennessee this past offseason. And one of these days, relatively soon, we're going to be talking about the Colts running back in similar terms as what many express regarding Derrick Henry right now. And that time is not that far away. That's why you got to take advantage of it and take advantage of it right now. So that obviously is out there. And as far as being the owner of the Colts and being outspoken this offseason, I bring up the term smitten, jealous. If you remember, going through the entire hiring process, and Vrabel was out there, and then ultimately Chris Ballard first went with Josh McDaniels. Then he bailed at the 11th hour, and Frank Reich ended up being the guy. We ended up seeing Mike Vrabel get signed on as the head coach down in Tennessee. They are built, and they have been built kind of like how the Colts have been built, with the expectations that the Colts have. They've just lived up to those expectations so far. But it has been the outspoken nature of the owner, Jim Irsay, not just talking about his band, not talking about jamming with Mellencamp or jamming with Mike Wanchek or Kenny Arnoff or Kenny Wayne Shepherd or Mike Mills, or what he's been doing with his pop culture / music collection. It has been, when it's been about football, two things. It's been about why Carson Wentz had to leave, why they had to make a change of quarterback, and how, I mentioned premium a little bit earlier, how it's a super premium to finally get over on the Titans this year. The Titans, I will tell you this right now, the Titans seem ripe because nothing clearly is going their way. Outside of their first win of the season last week, much like the Colts, seemingly nothing is going their way. Taylor Lewan, their right tackle, lost for the season a week ago. Harold Landry, before the season even got underway, done for the season. We talk about the foundational building blocks that the Colts have on either side of the football, offensive line and defensive line. Those as well are foundational building blocks for the Titans. Both those pieces are gone, which leaves you scrambling. Something else I asked John Glennon yesterday was this: at what point, you could talk, explain how much depth that you have, but at what point is the team just compromised beyond belief because depth-wise, you're just simply not going to have enough to make up for those types of major pieces? And then when you talk about the guys that are gone, you lose the production of A.J. Brown. But maybe even more so for this offense, you lose what? You lose that threat. There is no doubt, if you're Ryan Tannehill, you always felt good about having A.J. Brown throwing it to. Certainly they felt good against the Colts in the past. But not only is that production gone, but that threat for opposing defenses is now in Philadelphia playing. And that will have an effect on this offense, much like, really, when you think about it, like an injury. I mean, it is. It's like just losing a guy for the season. That production is gone. But more so than anything else, now moving forward, that threat is gone. Because teams are going to play up on you, and teams are going to force you when you run to have to think about doing something else and will not respect what you're doing through the air. Colts fans, you kind of recognize this saga a little bit, don't you? Yes, you've been down this path as well. So a lot to be sorted out in this first meeting between the Titans and the Colts coming up on Sunday. But make no mistake, this is a super premium must-win. This loss on Sunday, for example, if that happens, you are going to be spinning to try to get back into it the rest of the year. This gives you some leverage. This gives you some leverage going into a short week. Maybe getting a Denver team that's not what everybody thought it was going to be. In a short week in Denver, then you have time, get a little bit of rest off that Thursday night game, and then get back into it. Seriously, hugely important is that game coming up on Sunday. I want to talk with you about it at 239-1070. Email address is jmv@radio-1.com if you would like to go there. You'll also have us inside the lounge via YouTube Live, Facebook Live as well. You got us on Twitter. I believe Kyle has dropped that, or somebody has dropped in. You can watch and be entertained. Oh, thank you very much for the beer. Pull on up here with La Beer. Thank you very much. The ice cold Bud Light right here. The stream, the app, and tell me if something's not working, and I'll let you know. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Joining us here, he is the sports director, the longtime sports director of Fox 59. Chris Hagan is on hand. You can't see him on camera.
You have no peripheral
the camera's
vision.
On me.
I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes.
Well, I've got a monologue in my mind that I prepared, and I got to get that out. I got to set things up.
You're like an offensive coordinator. You've scripted the first 13 plays.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't break away from that?
Yeah, I'm prepared. I don't want that to be left and go stale.
Like when they script those plays and the guy gets like sacked on first down and now it's 2nd and 25, do they still have the same script? Do they factor that in there?
Probably, don't you think?
Hey, I was listening to your monologue that lasted from when I left my house till when I got here.
It's impressive, though, isn't it?
As craptastic as the Colts have been, and let's be honest, they've been craptastic. They've scored 4 touchdowns whole season. And they had that overtime period. So 3+ games.
Right.
And get this. They had the 1 4-yard touchdown drive after the muff punt. They had the 20-yard touchdown drive after the Texans fumble.
Yes.
They had the game-winning drive the other day that was kept alive by the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Or else they're punting.
Yeah.
So in 3+ games, they've had 1 legitimate, sustained touchdown drive. 1.
Right.
And yet here they are. If they win on Sunday, and you got to, you can't predict the NFL. If the Jaguars lose at Philly like they're, supposed to do, that would mean the Colts would be alone in first place if they win on Sunday. As horrible as it's been, and I wrote about this on fox59.com if you want to check it out. As bad as it's been, you're getting a mulligan. You've been gifted, thanks to Pep Hamilton and his play calling down in Houston, and thanks to Chris Jones, Mississippi State Bulldog, for whatever he said to Matt Ryan. You've been gifted a chance to be alone in first place after 4 weeks of the season. So now it's up to the Colts to take advantage of that. And as you just said, if they don't win on Sunday, all bets are off.
Yeah.
This season could go right down the toilet.
It could.
And you look at, Houston. What are you doing? That's a couple of years ago. You remember they lost week 1 to Jacksonville. It was Jacksonville's only win. Haunted them the entire season, kept them from winning the division. And now you have this game, cough button, Texans still winless. They're a garbage team. What are you doing tying down there? So despite all that, you could be in first place after this Sunday, and that's what they have to do.
No, he said Chris Hagan of Fox 59. The thing of it is, that's just, in general, the AFC South. And I think you knew that's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. It gives you the opportunity to get back in, even if you are viewed upon losing ground. But you can't do it within the division. Last week was important. Last week was important to just get a win, and certainly was important to beat one of the better teams in the AFC. But this is certainly more magnified, certainly more important because it's within your division, and you are 0-1-1 in that division that you absolutely have to win this year, and you got to win Sunday.
What's funny is as cool as it is to beat the Chiefs, you would trade that. You'd rather have beaten Jacksonville than beaten the Chiefs. You'd rather have that laid another loss on
there's
them.
no doubt.
You'd rather have done that, but it is what it is. You got to go handle your business. Lowest scoring team in the NFL, John. 40 points. 40 points.
Yeah.
But you win, you're back on track, you get guys healthy. You need to see this offensive line earn all the money they're making. Pass protection, running game. These guys have to deliver. Now, you saw the benefit of some of these young receivers stepped up last week. Is that just a one-time deal, or can these guys be considered playmakers for the rest of the season? And now those guys, they're on the game plan. Other teams have seen what Jelani can do. We kind of knew what Alec Pierce could do. That's what you got to be prepared for now is like, hey, these guys are on the game plan. You're looking for Jelani in the red zone. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes down on Sunday. I do know I would love to take the under in that.
I will, and I said this regarding A.J. Brown. I gave you a viewpoint of Tennessee. Not only do you lose his production, but what you lose the most with Ryan Tannehill, who everybody is skeptical at best about, even Tennessee Titan fans, you lose his threat.
Right.
You lose his threat, and the teams really can gang up on Derrick Henry on the run. And really, you kind of see these mirror situations going on, and especially in terms of, you look further down the road, Michael Pittman Jr. sometimes going to want more money. Jonathan Taylor sometime is going to see some of that tread run off the tire. That's why the time is now. You can't mess around. You got to play off that fourth quarter, which is one of the less than a handful of quarters of football that we have seen from this Colts team that's been reasonably good so far. So you take a stepping stone. Even the offensive line played better in the fourth on Sunday. You got to take something away from that.
Well, that's why Colts fans were spoiled in the Manning and the beginning of the Luck eras.
They're not spoiled in that era. Come on, man.
They weren't spoiled?
Fans aren't spoiled. No! Not the older ones.
I think the fans became accustomed to they're making the playoffs every year. Would you not?
No, that's what was built with Manning.
Right. What I'm
there was no spoiling going on, Chris,
sir,
because everybody had lived through the lean years, the awful years.
I listened to your 35-minute opening monologue.
Go ahead.
I'm saying that the standard was set that every year they're going to go to the playoffs. That's what was expected. And the reason it was expected is because somehow all these guys produced for numerous years. You'd walk in that locker room, you're like, well, you can count on Reggie being there, and there's Marvin, and there's Peyton, of course, and there's Dallas Clark, and there's Freeney, and there's Mathis. It's like where I was making the point, I was agreeing with you that the windows of guys in their prime don't always line up like that. So you've got a Jonathan Taylor. You saw Derrick Henry, the world's greatest running back of all time, gets hurt last year, and then what? You lose a guy like that. While you got a young JT, he's out there ready. They're giving him the ball 31 times in week one. They're riding him. And then you've got a Matt Ryan, who knows how much tread is still left on that tire. We saw glimpses of it last week in the fourth quarter. You got this offensive line, all these guys, first-round picks, stud players. The time is now. You can't just sit around and watch the wheel go around and go, well, next year we're going to have this. And because you're right, Michael Pittman goes out there and earns himself a giant contract. Yep. He's not from Indianapolis. You think he's going to, I'll just give him the hometown discount. No, it's a business. Players come, players go. And the point I was talking about, spoiled, the fans were spoiled by having a roster that you knew for the better part of a decade. You knew who was lining up on both sides of the football, and you knew how they were going to produce. And that's not the case in this day and age for the horseshoe.
Well, those expectations became that because we were finally all taught, especially from 84 to the start of the Manning era, with the exception of 95 and that AFC title game run in the postseason, we were taught to expect that. That's when you first got that taste of this is how it's supposed to be. So that's the bar. I think the spoiled thing would be, I guess, for those that were born and didn't really have to live through those first 15 or so seasons when things were a joke around here.
What if you walked in here every day for 10 years and as soon as you walked in, they just laid some free pepperoni breadsticks at your table?
I'd be so appreciative.
You would get used to like, hey, whenever I walk in, and then you walked in and all of a sudden they're not there. Then you come in again, they're not bringing them to you. You're like, would you say that you had been spoiled to expect that?
It's the taste, the expectations of the taste of the breadsticks, not the lack of a price tag.
Exactly.
No, I'm talking about the expectations. That's why they're not spoiled.
Okay. So you don't think these fans that didn't start paying attention until the playoffs?
I don't think anybody in my age. I don't think anybody in my age bracket that saw this Colts team perform week after week prior to the Manning era.
Right. But I'm saying
nobody's spoiled.
You
because
get
you've
used
been through
to
the
it.
worst.
Maybe that's a better term. They're used to it. They expect it. Maybe not spoiled, but there was a bar set, and even by the owner who goes out there and talks about multiple Lombardis and we're going to do this and do that. He has an expectation.
No doubt.
So that's it's semantics now. What word do you want to use? But not winning the division since 2014 doesn't sit right. The Colts won 9 of the first 13 AFC South crowns, and now every team in the division except the Colts have won it since 2014. And to me, that's ridiculous.
So Chris Hagan of Fox 59. Speaking of ridiculous, I'm JMV. Thank you for joining us. Bud Light Blue Friday. 7 pair of Titans Colts tickets we shall give away coming up a little bit later on. The great food, the ice cold Bud Light is what you see right here, right now. Bob Lovell's going to join us coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Our high school football game of the week. That's Brendan King and Kevin Bowen on the call tonight from Zionsville, Brownsburg, and Zionsville. Bob's going to join us, brought to you by CarX coming up on the other side. I think Mike Wells is in the 4 o'clock hour from ESPN Radio. Voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fisher. IU a big one in Nebraska tomorrow night. Purdue tomorrow afternoon. Huge in the West at Minnesota. A game-time decision as far as Aiden O'Connell and his participation at quarterback is concerned. We got that and more coming up for you. And last night with the Tua thing we can hit if you want. We can give our opinions, but this thing has been covered top to bottom nationally, and they're not basically going to stop probably until Tua plays again. But you guys all saw that for yourself last night. That was a very ugly scene. I guess the good news is today that went back on the team plane, is back at home, recovering right now, and then the Dolphins certainly have been in spin control with Mike McDaniel this afternoon as far as last night was concerned. We'll dive into that maybe a little bit later on as well. Kilroy's downtown, Bud Light Blue Friday, 7, count them 7. Titans Colts tickets to give away a little bit later on. Great food, ice cold Bud Light, Hagan, JMV, Bob Lovell's going to join us coming up on the other side. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Nothing hits harder than this. 5-finger death punch. Tomorrow, Ruoff Music Center with Megadeth and special guests, The Who and Fire from the Gods. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the Coors Light concert series. New single Afterlife out now.
Tim Tebow is the keynote speaker for Life Center's Celebration of Life Banquet, right here in Indy. Register at lifecenters.com for the banquet on Wednesday, October 26th at the JW Marriott downtown. This event is the largest fundraiser for Life Centers, a ministry that helps women making pregnancy-related decisions and provides baby and maternity items to local families. Don't miss Tim Tebow at the JW Marriott downtown on October 26th. Register at lifecenters.com. lifecenters.com.
Hey, it's JMV. Sometimes accidents happen. Truck wrecks, car wrecks, motorcycle wrecks that just shouldn't have happened. It can mean dealing with a lot of pain, broken bones, surgeries, PT, extended medical care, even death. All of which can also add up to catastrophic harm. That's where personal injury attorney John McLaughlin at Parr Ritchie can help. John is recognized in Indiana Super Lawyer magazine as an injury attorney. It's worth a free call to see if John can help you. 317-269-2509 or visit parrinjury.com. That's PARR injury.com.
A new season, a new QB, a new look. Football is back. And so are Bud Light Blue Mondays. Join JMV Mondays at Buffalo Wild Wings for ice cold Bud Lights, Colts football talk, and your chance to win tickets to Colts games. This week, stop by and see JMV at the Buffalo Wild Wings at 2683 East Main Street in Plainfield. JMV, Bud Light, and you. Doing it for the shoe. Bud Light Blue Mondays.
With PXG Golf Clubs, performance is in the bag. Get custom fitted for your new PXG sticks at the Golf Club of Indiana. Located in Whitestown, the Golf Club of Indiana's Performance Academy offers a private PXG fitting bay to get you fully dialed in with PXG clubs that are optimized for distance, accuracy, and feel. To schedule your custom PXG fitting experience at the Golf Club of Indiana, call 480-435-7803 or visit pxg.com. PXG. Nobody makes golf clubs the way we do. Period.
Hey, Dr. Elsperman, I believe one of the best ways to invest in a community is to encourage participation in high school sports.
I agree, Paul. High school sports can play a tremendous role in student athletes obtaining their first degree in life, a high school diploma. Ivy Tech Community College also plays a role by serving more than 70,000 Indiana high school students who are earning college credit while finishing high school.
High school athletics are all about setting students up for success in the classroom and in life, and that's especially important, considering less than 7% of student athletes play sports in college and even fewer receive scholarships.
At Ivy Tech, thousands of high school students complete their freshman year of college or first industry credential, giving them a head start on college and careers.
We appreciate the support of partners like Ivy Tech who invest in our student athletes, their education, and our communities.
This is championing education. This is investing in your community. This is your IHSAA.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning. Robert Kirby says the dependability of American Standard products is not by accident.
American Standard, they're doing more research and development. They have it tested in the field. So when it comes out, there's just not very many problems. I mean, we get a new product line on a new furnace, and it's just very reliable.
And Kirby is very reliable at 317-892-3614. Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
It's the Colts VIP Tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Make your game day experience the best it can be. Log on and get your tickets now. It's bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Right now, your home equity is at an all-time high, but don't wait. How much can you get? Let's find out today by visiting thehomeloanexpert.com.
The weather is getting cooler. The sunset's spectacular. This is when Friday Night Football shines. Two perennial 6A powerhouses look to establish their dominance. The Brownsburg Bulldogs travel to Zionsville to do battle with the Eagles. It's a Hoosier Crossroads Conference showdown under the Friday Night Lights. Brought to you by CarX. Don't worry, call the CarX team. Brendan King has the kickoff tonight at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. We're at Kilroy's downtown Bud Light Blue Friday. 7 pair of Titans Colts tickets to give away. We would love to see you down here if you have the opportunity, man. We got some legends here. Jimmy's here. BT's in the house. Yeah, Billy's over there too, man. Hagen here. Cam's the on-site engineer. Back at the studio, it is Kyle Udemark. Kyle Udemark and I are entrenched in a battle royale. Week number 4 of our NFL fantasy football season. Of course, our winner-take-all bar restock. Last night, Kyle, before we get to Bob Lovell in just a second, I thought I made out pretty good considering you had Joe Burrow. I had Jamar Chase. I don't know who else you had last night, but I thought Chase didn't have a good night, but at least in fantasy football terms, he held his own, and McPherson helped out a lot too because every time Burrow scored, McPherson at least got to put some numbers up for me. I had a good night, didn't I?
Yeah, it kind of wasn't fair. I was lucky that neither of the touchdowns went to Chase, and then I had Jalen Waddle as well, who didn't do very much at all after Tua went out.
That was a big deal last night. It was, too. And the Tua story we'll get to a little bit later on, but on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Brought to you by CarX.com, the Joe Childers 14 Central Indiana locations. Also, the sponsors of the high school football game of the week with Brendan King and Kevin Bowen tonight at Zionsville. Brownsburg and Zionsville is that high school football game of the week. And now to talk about that and then some, Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk is with us. Hey, Bob, thanks for the time. How are you, buddy?
I'm great, John. Thanks for having me.
Is the pairing show this weekend? Next weekend? It is
actually next Sunday, the 9th.
That's incredible. I can't believe that is already here. So this is week 7. So the pairing show comes after week 8, right?
That's right. Paul Condry and I live from the IHSAA headquarters on the IHSA Champions Network, and Paul's doing all the work. I'm going to get all the credit. So that's how it works.
So we have seen a great deal of parity, Bob, would you not say, in this football season so far, correct?
No question, John. That's been the word from literally day one. And, we're fortunate here in central Indiana to have a whole lot of really, really good football teams. And so
with that parity, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I mean and it's not just one particular class. And we've said this before. I think you look at 1A. Lutheran's really, really solid in 1A, and I'm not exactly sure who can line up and play them in 1A. 2A, Andrean's good up north. Mater Dei's having another one of their type of years, but a big battle in 2A tonight. John Cecina and Triton Central. That's number 5 and number 6. Those teams are really good. Heritage Christian and LaPel, 11 and 13 in the polls. So, it shows you the balance. 3A is one of those things. West Lafayette has played awfully well. I'd probably give them the favorite right now. New Pal similarly has been steamrolling people in 4A, but there's some really good teams. 5A, 6A, I think it's a toss-up. Toss it up and see who can play. Brownsburg's number 1 for a reason. We're going to see it tonight on our Game of the Week. They're explosive as can be offensively, talking about playmakers on both sides of the ball. Up north, the big battle, best game of the night. Number 1 in 5A, Mishawaka hosting number 5, Northwood. You'll have an idea what's going on about that. And then locally, number 4, Whiteland hosting number 7, Mooresville in 4A. Some really, really good teams. Franklin and Plainfield, that game at Franklin. So, John, parity is exactly what this is about, and that's why Friday nights are so much fun.
To Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk, brought to you by CarX, your 14 Central Indiana Joe Childers run. CarX locations for the one nearest you. It's CarX.com on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I wanted to ask you this, though. With that parity that we're talking about, and given coming up a week from Sunday, that is the pairing show, how much more important would the draw be now in a season like this that across the board has so much parity compared to other seasons when maybe there's not this particular level? Does it make that draw even more important coming up a week from Sunday?
Well, it probably does. I think if you look at in 6A, they don't have all the rounds. They get the first week off, so
right.
you only have to win a couple of games. But I do think from 5A down, it's very important. And again, you don't have the home court advantage so much in football that you do in basketball, but still, being at home crowd, all the excitement, all the pageantry going on. The big thing, Paul Condry, my broadcast partner on the pairing show, John, has always said that winning a football sectional in Indiana is the hardest championship to win because of so many factors over which you have no control as a coach. For example, grading periods end at about that time, so you may have some ineligibilities. Number 2, the draw determines on who you're playing and where. You can't control where and when you're going to play. You start to put all those factors in there, and then factor in the weather, which we have no idea what it's going to be. So you go through all of those particular things. It's hard. So if you can get a decent draw, you can help negate some of those factors over which you have absolutely no control.
So Bob Lovell joins us. I got a little bit of alumni concern today because my Thunderbirds are welcoming in tonight Owen Valley. 6-0 on the season, and yeah. Rob Gibson's team was, and they were legit a year ago, but it seems like they just kind of taken that baton and ran with it even more this year.
No, they're really good. No, seriously. They're very, very good. And it's a neat story, because, you're in a situation where, as you mentioned, they were pretty good a year ago. They've actually gotten better, I think, quite frankly. They're a legitimate team. They're going to go far in the tournament. Whether they can get to Lucas Oil, I don't know. But I tell you what, they are really, really good. And for your guys, that's the wrong team at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, all of the above. I think you're absolutely right about that. All of the above, unfortunately, from my birds. How about this? Listen, it didn't take much because it's not like they fell off very far. But you impressed with a rebirth of sorts, certainly a getting back to what had become the norm in New Pal, starting out 6-0 and having the type of team that we have seen. They get Shelbyville later on tonight.
Not at all surprised because Kyle Ralph is a tremendous football coach. The culture that he's developed is one of winning. You just think back, you go back to the Charlie Spiegel days when they were steamrolling people. They are maybe not as explosive with this group, but defensively they're hard to play, and they don't beat themselves, and they're really solid on both sides of the ball. They are, again, if you look at a favorite in 4A, I think you have to start there for the obvious reasons.
All right, Bob Lovell joins us. Chittard, Cathedral, I believe Roncalli are all playing teams out of the state of Indiana.
Right.
The Cathedral, I believe this is their senior night, too, and a shout-out to Patrick Kendall, who was a senior along that defensive line, had a fantastic career there. They get Cincinnati LaSalle. Chittard, meantime, gets Christian Brothers. Yeah, I don't think that's like Church Brothers, right, that does your car up. Fixes your, not in terms of fixes the engine, but fixes the body work on your car. And then I believe Roncalli's got Louisville Mail coming up later on tonight. So we always kind of ask this question this time of year. For those three schools, you think it's good in, for example, week number 7 to kind of play outside not just your general area, but also out of the state?
I think there are advantages to it in regard to, you get, an indication of where you are as you're getting ready to tune it up for the tournament. And so if you haven't already been exposed and figured out some of your weaknesses and things you need to tighten up, this will give you a perfect wake-up call, if you will, in terms of how you need to prepare yourselves mentally and physically for the last 2 weeks of regular season and for the first week of the tournament. So I think there's a lot of positives to it. The good thing for all of them is they're not on the road. So, Christian Brothers is coming over from Missouri. So, but you find out, number one, it's good to play somebody new, different. You don't know a lot about them. You don't have a lot of tradition. So you're exposed on what you can do fundamentally. Do you or do you not have a solid base in terms of what you've done in practice in these games to be able to play a team you don't know a terrible amount about? So, yeah, I think there are a lot of good things about it. There are some negatives. You always worry about playing teams you don't know and need to come out injury-free, and you need to come out mentally in a good space.
Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk tonight at 9:30. Every single Friday brought to you by CarX and our 14 Central Indiana Joe Childers run CarX locations. CarX.com for that location nearest you. And also, CarX is the proud sponsor of the high school football game of the week, Brownsburg and Zionsville, which should be a dandy coming up in Zionsville later on tonight. Bob's going to have the lowdown on that and everything else coming up later on tonight on Indiana Sports Talk. Bob, I always appreciate it. We're getting down to a really special time this week and next week, and we'll have you here to tell us all about it once again. I appreciate you.
Thanks, John. I always enjoy being with you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk, brought to you by your 14 Central Indiana CarX locations. Bud Light Blue Friday. We're downtown at Kilroy's looking for you with 7 pair of Titans Colts tickets to give away before the end of the show. And again, we go until 7 o'clock tonight. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 rejoins us. Anything else we leave out of that first segment after my epic monologue?
Well, I thought you were still talking about it.
With?
Good gravy.
You absolutely disagreed with it.
I sat here at the reserve table, and I thought you were giving me the cold
Very
shoulder
reserved.
like I wasn't supposed to be here. I was like, maybe he doesn't see me. He's got poor hearing, and maybe his eyesight's good too. But you sure as hell looked up when you saw the beer come down in the peripheral vision.
It came right here. It's ice cold too, buddy.
I do like his, from week 1, you've been saying it's a must win, and the way the schedule fell in line, it seemed like the first 4 weeks, I didn't think when you look at the schedule, I didn't think week 3 was going to be must win because I thought they would have won in Houston and Jacksonville. Then you're like, you can lose that in Kansas City, and you turn around and then it's must win against Tennessee. But it plays out the way it does. I had them sitting 2-1 right now, so 1-1 isn't the end of the world. And then as we said earlier, if the Jags lose to the last unbeaten team, Philly, on Sunday, and the Colts win, 2 things that are favored by Las Vegas to happen, the Colts would find themselves alone on top of the division after 4 weeks, despite the stagger out of the gate.
No, and then you get a short week in Denver. And Denver, speaking of staggering out of the gate, has done just that with Russell Wilson. Haven't been as advertised. We'll see what they do this weekend. But they get a short week.
What would be the over-under in Colts Broncos? 12.5?
Probably, yeah. Probably. See, that's the thing that stands out about this Colts game. You hope that drive into the fourth quarter was a sign of things to come, but it's hard to make yourself believe it. Because there are so many things working right now. In particular, if the offensive line plays at the low level of which it has, Chris, this team normally is not going to have a chance. They're going to get buried.
I mean, Matt Ryan is a competitor, but let's face it, he's not Michael Vick back there. You got to give him more time. I was looking at some numbers about, the average time he's facing pressure is like 1.7 seconds, less than 2 seconds they're in his face. Nobody's going to succeed in that. So you talked about building on that last drive, and I don't want to belabor the point, but it goes in the books as a 16-play, 76-yard. You're like, wow, that's incredible. No, that drive really ended at midfield when it was going to be 4th and 14 and they were going to punt. The drive picked back up after the penalty at midfield. So they took it midfield in. It was a short scoring drive. They made the plays. They made the big throws. They made the catches. But let's not go crazy here and say, wow, the offense did great winning that game. They got a huge boost from whatever it is what was said. Do you know what was said by Chris Jones? Do you have a pretty good idea?
Do you?
I heard two different versions, so I don't know. We'll compare notes. Here's what you can do.
Well, give us a soft definition here. Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's take a break and come back. Give us a flaccid definition of exactly what you've heard. Yes.
What is this, a erectile dysfunction commercial here?
Have you not seen my fantasy football team? See if you like this name. The Bargersville Flaccid Rains. Flaccid Rain is in REIGN, I think. Yeah.
I could have gotten fired for my fantasy football team name right now. I don't know if I've ever told you the story. I can't tell it on the air, but I'll tell you off the air about how my stupid fantasy football name almost got me fired. It's a typical Hagen story.
Hagen's all in right here. All right, I want you to give us that soft definition of what you heard coming up on the other side. Kilroy's Downtown Bud Light Blue Friday. I want to see you here. We see you, or you see me, and then I see you because I'm participating with you inside the lounge via YouTube Live. You can get there right now. Hopefully the app and the stream, everything is working well. If not, there are other ways that you can listen, and certainly one of those, YouTube Live, the Ride with JMV inside the lounge. You can get there. Otherwise, your chance at 7 pair of Titans Colts tickets courtesy of Bud Light and Kilroy's Downtown. Mike Wells in the 4 o'clock hour, Don Fisher in the 5 o'clock hour. This is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Yeah, that's right. I bet you didn't expect to see me here. Well, here I am. Let me tell you about a little something called respect. You ever heard of it? You know what? I think it's not...
You're good at using your time in the shower to replay conversations and say what you should have said. We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
I think it's time for you to get out. You should just leave.
Hey, shot here for Aurora Specialty Sleep Clinic. Let's get on it, too. If you know somebody, or if that somebody is you, that is struggling with a night's sleep because of your snoring, let's do something about it, because really what it can do, it can bog you down, right? I mean, you're trying to stay up late and watch your favorite team play in that late game, but you can't make it. Then you're sleeping late, and you don't get a great night's sleep. Do something about it with the Aurora Specialty Sleep Clinic. Brian Evans, Dr. Steve Green, what they did for me is they constructed, and this is easy, too, an affordable mouthpiece, easy to wear overnight. It stopped my snoring. Now I get great bed rest, and you can too. So go ahead and go stopyoursnorenow.com. Stopyoursnorenow.com and see what can be done with Aurora Specialty Sleep Clinic about your snoring or somebody that you love. If it's struggling with bed rest and snoring, it is stopyoursnorenow.com today.
My name is Megan Davis, and I am the Director of Training and Communications here at the Humane Society for Hamilton County. We nominated Trudy because she truly embodies our mission and message of whatever it takes.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Jennifer Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are rewarding Hoosier volunteers who use their vehicle to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
I think what the most important thing to me is when we get dogs in that are so scared, I just love to take these dogs under my wing. I need my vehicle to be in top shape because because I'm driving here 6 days a week.
Each month, Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides a volunteer free vehicle maintenance for a year. Whether it's someone who delivers smiles and supplies or drives somewhere to serve on site, Jiffy Lube supports local givers who count on their car to do more for Indy, and we love to hear their stories.
If you know a volunteer who impacts your community, nominate them today to receive a year's worth of free vehicle maintenance. Just click the Do More tab at JiffyLubeIndiana.com.
Football season is underway, so now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, it's Mark from Kevin and Query. Right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. All you have to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code MARK. Bet on the Colts or anything in the NFL to college football and IU and Purdue. Whatever you want, it's right there at your fingertips, all on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Plus, they have everyday odds, boosts, and specials, and when you win, you get paid quick. So again, sign up today with promo code MARK for your no-sweat first bet, good for up to $1,000. That's promo code MARK, M-A-R-C. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is now a drawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Don't you love fall in Indy, but you hate the paint? Well, do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
No paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
14 Central Indiana CarX locations, one near you. The Joe Childers Run, Central Indiana CarX locations. By the way, there's about to be a 15th as well. I'll tell you that, upcoming, but 14 right now. Brakes, tires, anything mechanically speaking, and oil changes, all can be done at one place where you can trust it. The Joe Childers Run CarX locations. To find the one nearest you, CarX.com today.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Honoring the pursuit of brews and barrel-aged bourbon every Wednesday at the Bourbon and Brews Party. Get to Twin Peaks from 5 to 7 to experience a lingerie costume party paired with exceptional bourbons, tastings, and giveaways. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Georgia Street Tailgates presented by Peterman Brothers are back. Drop by this Sunday from 10 to 1 for food, music, and more. Free entry. All ages welcome.
Brownsburg travels to Zionsville on Friday Night Football presented by CarX. The action begins at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
I want you out in front of the school with her. I'd like to have a few words with you, by God.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Oh, it's a hairband weekend on B105.7, right? A hairband weekend with a JMV takeover tomorrow night. And I'm going to give a tribute. I will tribute to the passing a couple of days ago of Coolio. We'll do that at 6 o'clock coming up tomorrow night. JMV Takeover, B105.7. Back with you on The Fan. Kilroy's Downtown, Bud Light Blue Friday. 7 pair of Titans Colts tickets to give away before we're out of here at 7 o'clock tonight. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 joins us. 7 pair exactly. You had a soft definition answer to what Chris Jones said on Sunday.
A profanity followed by a derogatory term.
That's what I did. There's a lot of, and the fact that he said it right next to the referee probably was the reason he drew the flag. If he's any place else out there against any, like the back judge or the line, it's not going to happen like that.
Well, I don't think every referee in the game calls it either. It's just when they threw the flag, I looked for the replay and I thought, oh, Jones shoved his head into the ground or pushed him or leaned on him. And then it wasn't like they were leaning to each other's faces and pointing. He wasn't showing him up, So it was very strange to me. And, the Colts will certainly take it, but it didn't look like something on its face that would have been getting a 15-yard penalty.
Not only will the Colts take it, but they absolutely needed it.
They needed it. Because
like a huge third down play right there.
Yeah, you're looking at 4th and 14 from your own 31 with 5 minutes to play. You're going to punt that football. Mm-hmm. You'd already burned one of your timeouts.
May not get that bad boy back.
Yeah, might not get it back. And as poorly as the Chiefs played, they would have been happy to sneak out of here with a W. But as I said on the air, John, and as I've said it a million times, that is why they play the games.
Hagen, JMV, Kilroy's Downtown Bud Light Blue Friday. And we'll get your thoughts on the other side if you guys want to call us. Mike Wells is not going to join us from ESPN Radio until 4:30. I got time for you on the other side at 239-1070. Bud Light Blue Friday at Kilroy's Downtown. We got the Titans-Colts tickets, 7 pair to give away. An hour or two with you straight ahead on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey there, it's Jake Query, and it's a big Saturday night upcoming of racing at the Tom Wood Group Indianapolis Speedrome, powered by Lincoln Tech. It's a full night of championship racing on the historic 5th Mile Oval for stocks, legends, and junior fast karts, and many late models, capped off by the always exciting, wild, and unpredictable Figure 8. The Indianapolis Speedrome features family-friendly racing action, great food, free parking, and outrageous fun, all happening at the corner of Brookville Road and Kitley Avenue on Indy's southeast side. Location information, ticket prices, and more, all at speedrome.com.
Denny Smith for Sundown Gardens. The big fall sales here at Sundown Gardens. 20% off container trees and shrubs, 30% off bald and burlapped evergreen and shade trees, 30% off perennials, and 50% off on Japanese maples. Hurry in for the best selection. Fall's a fantastic time to plant, so follow Sundown Gardens on Facebook and Instagram and make a plan to come visit this week. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, just west of Grand Park, sundown.gardens.com. That's sundown.gardens.com.
Dan Dockage here, and I love Moondrops Distillery, classic spirits from the heart of Fortville, Indiana. The apple pie moonshine hitting shelves just in time for tailgating and bonfires. It's the taste of an Indiana fall all grown up. The apple pie joins bonfire blends along with classic lemon shake-up and peppermint. Try a glass of 5-year-old bourbon, experience single barrel bourbon, or even pick up a bottle of gold medal winning vodka. Moondrops Distillery believes in the magic of shared experience over a smooth drink. Moondropsdistillery.com to find a retailer. Experience something special.
Nothing hits harder than this. 5-finger death punch. Under and over. Tomorrow, Ruoff Music Center. With Megadeth. And special guests, The Who. And Fire from the Gods. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the Coors Light concert series. New single Afterlife out now.
Diamonds Direct's unbelievable zero-interest finance offer is coming to a close, but you have until this Sunday to take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing on any purchase. Now more than ever, it's the smartest way to buy. You can get that engagement ring or fabulous piece of designer jewelry and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. This amazing offer is good through this weekend only. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get all the details, including special Sunday hours, at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Tim Tebow is the keynote speaker for Life Center's Celebration of Life banquet, right here in Indy. Register at lifecenters.com for the banquet on Wednesday, October 26th at the JW Marriott downtown. This event is the largest fundraiser for Life Centers, a ministry that helps women making pregnancy-related decisions and provides baby and maternity items to local families. Don't miss Tim Tebow at the JW Marriott downtown on October 26th. Register at lifecenters.com. lifecenters.com.
Hellsberg Diamonds presents The Guy Who Found the Perfect Ring. Jake needed an engagement ring, so he did his research, asked his fiance's best friends for advice.
She wants emerald cut. Definitely.
And he went to Hellsberg Diamonds. Jake knew that Hellsberg's been in business for over 100 years. That means quality. And with their price match guarantee, he'd get a great deal. And she'd get the ring she's always wanted.
Way to go, Jake.
So be like Jake. Find the ring of her dreams at a Hellsberg Diamonds near you or at Hellsberg.com.
I can walk again. I can cross my legs again. I can wear heels again.
After years of living with chronic joint pain, Andrea Southard is now living a normal life, pain-free, thanks to natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics.
We tried everything, and my husband had heard the commercial for QC Kinetics on the radio, and he told me to call him and check it out.
That phone call changed Andrea's life. QC Kinetics used powerful natural biologics to treat her aching joints. It's high-tech precision medicine that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue with no surgery and no drugs, providing lasting relief.
I felt like I was in my 20s again. I could tie my own shoes. Really the little things that you don't think about.
Pain in your hips, knees, back, shoulders? Get rid of the pain now. Call QC Kinetics.
463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. 463-235-7160.
Imagine being able to pay off all your credit cards and maybe even missing a few months of mortgage payments. Learn more about a simple cash-out refinance today by visiting thehomeloanexpert.com.
Ball State football is back in Muncie this Saturday as the Cards take on Northern Illinois at 2 p.m. Secure tickets at ballstatesports.com or charge by phone 888-BSU-TICKET. Chirp, chirp.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Join me on Monday. This is a monster weekend, not only for the Colts. Of course, we've got IU football and Purdue. Don Fisher, Greg Rakestraw, Sean Salisbury. Join me on Monday.
The Ride with JMV.
Well, you're going to have to say that. You're going to have to speak up because I can't hear you.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Ain't nothing going to break my stride.
We're just watching here off the air a video of Matthew Wilder performing on Solid Gold back in the 80s, his one-hit wonder hit.
I can guarantee you, usually at 4 o'clock you have Mike Wells trying to name the artist.
He wouldn't know that,
I believe he would swing and miss on this one.
Come on, man.
It would be great to hear Wells try to sing this, too. Obviously, he's a prolific singer and not afraid to belt one out. I'd like to see how much. But didn't somebody... There was a hip-hop artist that took that and kind of turned it into a hip-hop song.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Maybe Puff Daddy.
You know, Wells bailed on me last week, right? For Belle Biv
for the concert
and Jodeci.
Oh, wow.
SOS band.
I would have gone, but I was doing some good stuff with the Bootleggers Bash for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
MC work
raised some good money. I got to wear a Gatsby type outfit, and the gals were all the Gatsby gals were all dolled up. So
did you do that like DiCaprio?
I had to do the.
Is it a meme or a GIF or a GIF or what is that?
I think it's a meme.
Okay,
but I got to do that. It was fun, but they had one thing that I have to take issue with. They had these like Las Vegas style games like blackjack and craps and roulette, but it's not real money. You know, look at this guy.
Oh, hell yeah.
If you're playing blackjack and it's not real money, how are you excited? Because if you win a million hands,
you're still winning, right?
Look at all these plastic chips. And if you lose, you don't feel bad. You're like, it's not real.
You don't, you're not competitive in anything that doesn't involve money?
Well, it's not really competition if you don't stand to lose anything.
Sure it is.
Really?
It's a moment competition, right? I mean, you're playing a game.
Right, you're playing against, the dealer. You're rolling the dice or whatever. But
you're still playing against everybody.
People were cheering. I'm like, wow, somebody just won $1 million. No, they won a stack of plastic chips that they still give back at the end of the
But you're
night.
still a winner. They say, hey, you're the winner. Chris won. Chris is the winner. He's
I told one of the guys there, like, he had a big. I go, if we're in Vegas doing this, you lose $5,000, but since you're here, you're hitting. You can't
There's no
miss.
doubt, yeah.
It's like if you're in the gym all by yourself and you make 35 threes in a row, and then you get in the game and you're 0 for 10.
There's
you're
no
like,
doubt.
Where'd those shots go?
Yep, no doubt about that.
But you know what? If you were 0 for 10, I know you'd keep shooting.
No doubt about that. My foot hurts right now, though. We're going to have to go see Kevin. Hey, shout out to Kevin Julian at Greenwood Orthopedics because I'm going to have to come and see you on Monday.
You think you got a fracture in there?
I believe I've got a fracture in my 5th metatarsal in my left foot. I believe that's what the case is.
Well, luckily,
because I've stayed off of it for a month, and then I ran from the Circle to the State House, and I guess I don't know if I stepped in a hole on Market Street because there's only 1 million of them, and something happened.
That's why
it wasn't good. There was a pop, snap.
It's never a good idea to run. I tell people this all the time. It's funny because my neck was hurting and my arm was all numb, and I'm like, probably should get that looked at. So like 6 months later, I got it looked at, and they're like, you need surgery. You need, you've got some compressed discs here. We need to replace these things.
You get that Hawley effect.
Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving. So then, that's what I thought of last night when Tua got thrown down and went all stiff there. I'm like, I know what that feels like. It's scary stuff. And anytime you're messing with the brain, the head, I mean, it's
Did you have that fencing that they talked about too going on?
Well,
with your hands when you had that happen?
I got knocked out, so I don't know. And part of me wishes there was video, and part of me is glad there's not, because some people there with the game that saw it happen live, they said it looked like you were dead. So obviously I was just motionless. I'd probably want to see how I was on the ground. I wouldn't want to see the actual blow there.
Was it helmet to helmet between you and Hawley?
Well, I still don't know. It was definitely to my head. I don't know what part of him hit me, if it was his head or his forearm or maybe he did a flying knee kick. But, it was something.
Tua thing last night was not good. And that comes off of a Sunday where it wasn't good.
Short week, get him right back out there. But the thing is, and you've talked to players forever, players are always going to want to go out there. Somebody has to step in and say, you're not going in. But look, you're an undefeated team. You're on the road against an AFC squad. This game has, the so-called playoff implications down the road. That was the hit where the first hit in Buffalo is the one I think he looked more concussed, because he gets up and he's kind of, I thought last night he was knocked out. So that's the one where he looked concussed, where he was wobbly, because that's the way I was when I tried to stand up. I just felt like I was on a boat that was on rocky waters. So, it's not good to mess with the brain, and this is something you see the different kind of helmets they've come out with, and they're always going to be chasing this as long as there's football. You're going to be, it's a dangerous sport, and sometimes you take for granted, he just got hit. He can get back up. He's fine, and you don't realize the things that can be done in the moment and the things, long-term effects, which is something that I still deal with.
239-1070. I want to get some calls on the air. I know we got some people on. We'll go to them in just a second, but I did want to bring this up before we got everybody on the air here, Chris. Was you mentioned, erring on the side of caution and how the players don't normally do that, if ever. So let's go back to Shaquille Leonard, who is questionable for Sunday.
Which is good.
Yeah, he may very well play for the first time in 2022. Do you take anything away from what he said yesterday when he said, listen, this is not, about me not wanting to play. I want to be out there, but I'm not at the level right now where I think I can help the team. And I'm paraphrasing here, but if Zaire Franklin is, and he's quicker than me right now, and he's a better option because of his health and how he's moving, then I would rather see him play. How much credit do you give him? Because not a lot of players would ever say, hey, this guy is just going to be better than me right now. That's why he needs to be playing, and I'm not.
Yeah, I say props to Shaquille for that, because it would be easy to go out there and say, I'm a captain. This is my team. I'm going to go play. And if you're playing like crap, no one knows better than the player himself. No one knows the player's body better than the player. So if he's saying he's not ready, he's not ready. So I don't think there's anything to be said about, he's soft, or he just is, collecting a paycheck. And look at it right now. Zaire leads the team in tackles. He's got 30 tackles. He led them last week. He had 12. So Zaire's a good player. He's a captain on special teams. He's respected in that locker room. And when you get him on the defensive side of the football, it's not like some huge drop-off. So if Leonard is looking at this and watching the game, I think it's good. He's so engaged at the games. He could be, at home watching this. He's on the sideline. He's cheering. He's, revving the crowd up. So I think he has a good idea of what Zaire's doing, and I think he has a good idea of how he feels. And I like that mentality.
What I was saying about that, too, rarely, if ever, do you hear a player say, hey, listen, this guy may be better than I am right now, so he needs to be playing, and I still need to work my way back. You rarely hear that.
Right. Well, would you rather him being out there and people say, something's wrong with him, he's just not right, I think he came back too soon? No, you'd like to see he comes back, and obviously he's not going to come back in the first game and get every single rep and be up to his all-pro, standard. But you get him back, you give him, 15 snaps. You realize you have Franklin out there that can hold down the fort on the plays he's off, and then your idea is you have him as healthy as possible and up to his form, on the back half of the season, and then playoffs if there should be that situation.
It's Chris Hagan of Fox 59, JMV here, Kilroy's downtown, Bud Light Blue Friday. We have 7 pairs. 7. Go see the Titans and the Colts coming up on Sunday. We'll start giving those away coming up by the end of the show. We're here until 7 o'clock tonight. Meantime, Kyle, we got people ready at 239-1070. Is Justin still there?
Yes, he is. Here's Justin.
Justin, welcome to the show. How are you? Justin, I'm talking to you.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. I can now, barely. Half-assedly is what I'd like to call it. Yeah. Are you better?
Well, I just have one thing to say. When are we going to start using Nyheim Hines more? I mean, we went out and paid him all this money a couple years ago, and we're just not using him.
They have been knocking around at that. There's no doubt about that. I don't know, honestly, because the offensive line has been so dreadful most of the time. I think other than that week number 1 with Pittman Jr. receiving and with Jonathan Taylor running it, I don't think we've seen anybody used right. You know what I mean? That makes sense to you? I mean, that's ultimately on Frank, but it starts with the offensive line that has been so bad. It puts, for the most part, your offense in complete disarray. You can't live with it like this. That's why if it's communication, Justin, something has to be done, because not only does this affect your team in the now, but this is your building block here. You get a lot of money sunk into this offensive line. If it's not working now and can't work in the future, that has a longer term effect. So if you can fix it, now would be a really good time communicatively to fix this if you're the head coach.
I agree, and I feel like right now, though, would be the time to use Hines in some of these bubble screens, some of these quick screens, because they're not being able to hold up. To get the ball out to him quick and get him on the move.
Yeah, you got to get the ball to him in space, and you know, obviously it's a tell when Taylor comes out and he's in the backfield. The defense is like, oh, this is going to be a pass. They're going to run. He's not going to run between the tackles. So you're battling that kind of a tell before you even snap the ball, and then you got to give him time. If you want to get it, you got to give him some time to get out in space, to come open wherever you line him up, and that's been a problem that's affected every aspect of that Colts offense so far.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys to answer my call. I just hope that we start to use him a little more. I think he's got big things in the future.
Justin, thank you very much.
You left him on hold so long that his phone service, he lost service.
I did not.
He had driven past the state lines and didn't know what was going on.
I did not. Look at Jimmy, come on over here, man.
Hey, I got a gambling pick that Jimmy threw out. Jimmy told me boldly and with a straight face that 12-point underdog Purdue is going to beat Minnesota, and that 17-point underdog Arkansas is going to beat Alabama. So if you put those two together, $100 will win you $2,700. All you need is Purdue to beat Minnesota and Arkansas to beat Alabama. Now we laugh,
yes, but
Jimmy may show up with a new suit of clothes next Friday because he cashed in on that huge underdog two-team parlay.
Jimmy. I don't know, Jimmy.
He's not laughing. Look, he's serious.
239-1070. Matthew, jump on here. Thanks for the call. How are you?
See, Matthew's out of town now, too.
Go ahead, Matthew.
You had him too long on hold.
Great, buddy. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Hagen's talking over the top of you. Go ahead, Matthew.
Oh, that's fine. Also, hey, Chris.
Hey, Matthew. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah, likewise. So, what are you guys looking forward to the most in the Colts-Titans matchup?
I want to see if there's anything that can be taken away, Matthew, from the way the offense, and I know Chris Jones played the largest role in that extended game-winning drive, but I want to see if they can take anything away from that, because there was some success certainly with that. And I also want to see defensively if I thought they played really well against Kansas City. If that's something that is real right now, or was that a momentary thing? I guess what I'm trying to say is, if this thing is ready to gel because of early season Matthew miscommunication or whatever the hell we're talking about here, I'm looking to see that. I mean, something more sustainable than just a quarter, something more sustainable than just a drive. Those are the couple of things on either side of the football, Matthew, I'd be looking for. Chris, what about you?
I want to see the game within the game and then the game within that game. I want to see Quentin Nelson and Jeffrey Simmons going head-to-head for 70 plays, 60, however many offensive plays. I want to see Q, first-round pick, Jeffrey Simmons, first-round pick. I want to see run blocking and pass protection, those two thoroughbreds going head-to-head. That's what I'm looking for.
What about you, Matthew?
Pretty much the same. I'm just hoping the defense holds Derrick Henry to as little yards as possible. My colleague's a Titans bandwagon fan because of Henry, so.
Uh-oh. Do y'all have a friendly wager on the line, Matthew?
No.
You gotta juice it up a little bit. You gotta say, hey, look, you're gonna wear a Colts jersey for a week if the Colts win this, and then you'd have to wear like a Titans hat, or you'd have to put yourself out there to show your true support.
Yeah, well, he's a former Patriots fan, so I give him enough time.
Oh my gosh!
He's all over the place.
This guy is all over the map with teams that the Colts don't like.
A little background with Matthew. Matthew lives in Maine.
Right.
Matthew is a big-time fan from Maine. Matthew, are you really going to send me some lobster?
Yeah, it'll be there Tuesday.
Oh, my God. Wow. Matthew, that's awesome.
You know, my claim to fame, and I don't have many, I've been to all 50 states. And Maine was one of the last ones I went to, and it's by far one of my favorites. You go up and down that coast, you go to Kennebunkport, you go see all these lighthouses. I mean, just unbelievable up there. And, of course, the seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Sweet. So now I know two people who've been to all 50 states.
Matthew, let me tell you. Query's been to all 52, I think, right? So I love seafood. Is lobster the best seafood that Maine has to offer, or is there anything else that's as good as lobster?
We've got a bunch of stuff that's good as lobster, but that's clearly what we're the best at.
Man,
you get your crab legs up in Alaska, and you get your lobster up in Maine.
Well, you get halibut in Alaska too, or
just
Pacific
for the halibut.
Northwest. I love halibut.
You know, it's
salmon too.
Yeah,
I dig on salmon. Yes,
I learned a lot because I went on these tours up in Alaska about the salmon industry up in Alaska. Man, it's unbelievable. And yeah, you think there's no big deal about you get that fresh seafood. There's a world of difference. So yeah.
Matthew, anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Hey, thank you for the lobster, too. I cannot wait. That's Matthew in Maine right there, who also hangs out inside the lounge via YouTube Live right there, which is spectacular. Lobster. Now, did you go to Buxton when you were in Maine?
I did not go to Buxton.
Did you go sit under a tree and then find a rock that had no rightly reason to be there?
I've been to that real
find
place
money and a note
in Ohio. I've been to that real tree, which unfortunately got struck by lightning, and now that tree's no longer there.
Say Wantaneo.
Like he's going to remember that.
You would. That's pretty. Yeah.
And I went to that prison, the boys' school, whatever it really was. I went inside there. Wes Woodward and I snuck in the back door there and took our own little private tour. So yeah, that's one thing that I've been so fortunate to travel a lot for work. And when I go there for work, first thing I do is I'll be like, things to do in this area, like what's cool, movie locations. You know, you can go in the Cleveland suburbs there. You can go to the Christmas Story house.
Yep, I knew that.
Go right up there.
Well, I've done the tour, and this is just my own tour because you can find these places. All the John Hughes, all the Chicago, the Highland Park movie homes. The John Hughes one. I went to Jake Ryan's place. Ferris Bueller's house is actually Ferris Bueller's house is in California, but
and you know those people,
Cameron Fry's with the Ferrari going out to the back. That's in and around Highland Park. And Tom Cruise's risky business house.
Oh.
Samantha Baker from 16 Candles. I went to all these places.
Those people love it, too, when you show up there. Like the house from Breaking Bad, they've had to put up like a little barrier, like don't come under our door. The Sex and the City house, people would want to go get their picture right by the front door. They've had to put up a thing like, hey, please be respectful. Somebody lives here. But, you know, when you buy that house, you got to expect that. I was looking up because we're going to Dallas. I was trying to see where, what is the South Fork Ranch?
Yeah.
From the TV show Dallas.
Like you look at that now and you go, man, how did that entire family live in that house? Why did both brothers and their wives live in that house?
Because it was only a dream. It is cool when you go see those places, and they're all over the place, and some of them still there. On a grisly note, Wes Woodward and I, we went to Nicole Brown Simpson's condo, and we made the drive to where OJ's house was, and we did the timing to see if we could have made it in the same amount of time he did, and we did. But that's a story for another day.
It's a little weird right there. Well, the Fast Times at Ridgemont High house, where Stacy lived with the pool and back.
Hey, show them how you can stand up underwater.
Who's this Taylor?
That guy.
One of the more underrated lines ever is Damone saying to Brad Hamilton after he walks in the house, "Who's this Taylor?"
The lines, I don't know if they were written, but like when he meets Jefferson, "Oh, is that your little brother? He's a good-looking kid." And then when Ratner wants to fight him and he goes, "I woke up in a great mood. I don't know what happened."
See, here's what's funny. Everybody thinks that I just enjoy the part where Phoebe Cates comes out of the pool, which, while that was incredibly enjoyable, it was all great. See, there is no lull. Find me a movie where there's no lull. Give me a movie where there's no lull.
The greatest thing about that
There's no lull in this. There's no lull in Die Hard.
Well, the thing was, Fast Times, we were teenagers when that movie came out about teenagers, and that was the first movie that really showed, at least to me, that how teenagers really behaved and talked and acted. Otherwise, they were just considered, periphery characters like, oh, that's just the son and that's just the daughter. No, that people were living real lives and doing real things and, getting so close. You were so close to the stage, it probably scared the band.
No lull. Roadhouse,
once it starts,
no lull.
Yeah.
Fugitive, no lull.
What's great is when you even now when I go into to see some movies at the theater, which I love to do, and you haven't done for like 30 years
since 1999.
Last century was when
September the 21st. I just celebrated another anniversary.
Wow, you can tell like when some of these I remember I saw the new Star Trek movie with Chris Pine, and as soon as it started, I was like, oh, this is going to be one. Like we're into it. There's no like let's introduce these people. Like the movie has started, and it's going to be a roller coaster.
Forrest Gump, no lull. Apollo 13, no lull. Rarely Boogie Nights, no lull.
Did you see where Tom Hanks recently said he's only been in four pretty good movies or something like that, and people were sending out their lists. That's something that'd be fun to put on Twitter. Have people tweet at you with the four good movies. If Tom Hanks only has 4, what is his top 4? His Mount Rushmore, I guess you'd say, of Tom Hanks movies.
Well, Bachelor Party, clearly.
That's what I said.
There's no lull in that either.
This list is incomplete without Bachelor Party.
I just want to be entertained the entirety of the time, and it's when you can go back to it and it feels as good and as fresh as when you first watched it. That's what gets me in a film. I can watch Die Hard as many times as possible, and nothing ever gets old.
Yeah, there's a short list of 5 or 6 movies that no matter what, even if it's like the TNT commercial version, bad words taken out, you're still going to sit there and watch. You know how it's going to end, but you just want to sit there and savor and enjoy each moment.
So Chris Hagan, JMV, we're live. We're downtown at Kilroy's. Join us, Bud Light Blue Friday. I got 7 pair of Titans Colts tickets to give away. We would love to see you win those. 7 pair to give away for what is a huge game coming up on Sunday. No Julian Blackmon. He's been ruled out. Shaquille Leonard just may well make his 2022 debut for the Colts coming up on Sunday. A story we will follow. Last night's Thursday Nighter, Cincinnati a winner over Miami, but that was certainly a backgrounder considering what happened to Tua at quarterback. Got that and the start of a busy week number 4 with you. Live downtown at Kilroy's, Bud Light Blue Friday. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This is the Colts preview on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Here's the voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor.
Good afternoon. Welcome into the Colts preview today, brought to you by Arby's. On game days, Colts fans can get 4 classic roast beefs for just $10 at participating Indianapolis Arby's locations. That's 4 famously tender Arby's roast beef sandwiches for only $10, valid on classic size only. A big game awaits the Colts on Sunday. It's the Colts and Titans round 1 at Lucas Oil Stadium. Tennessee has won the AFC South 2 years in a row, and they swept the Colts last season, including an overtime thriller last Halloween. The Colts started slow inside the division in the first 2 weeks of the season, and they know they've got to beat the champs in order to be the champs inside the AFC South. It all starts up front of these matchups. It's a battle in the trenches. Which team can run the ball? Will it be Derrick Henry and the Titans against the Colts' vaunted rushing defense, or will Jonathan Taylor take advantage of the Titans' defense that's allowing over 5.7 yards per attempt so far this year? Both of those backs are Triple Crown winners. Henry led the NFL in carries, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns in 2020, and Taylor did it in 2021. And Jonathan Taylor talked about the sense of urgency and the level of importance on this game between these two division rivals.
Number one, just making sure that we look at it as another game, but we understand the magnitude of it. We know this is the division divisional game. We know how much weight these games hold. But like I said, we see each other twice a year, so we got to be ready for any and everything they throw at us. It's going to be something unique probably that they throw at us. Every division opponent does. So we just got to make sure we know our rules, we know our assignments, because it's going to be a battle.
That's Jonathan Taylor, and the Colts will be without Julian Blackmon on Sunday with an ankle injury. DeForest Buckner is listed as questionable with an elbow, and Shaq Leonard is listed as questionable as well and could make his 2022 debut on Sunday. The big game is scheduled for 1 o'clock, and you can hear all the action right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. And that's it for the Colts preview today, brought to you by Arby's.
Oh, while we're in lawn and garden, I was thinking I should pick up one of those little things for watering my plants.
A hose?
No. The things that look like teapots, but for plants. You tip it over and it goes blah, 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 blah.
You're good at describing words you've forgotten.
Like those things that give the plants a shower, that you fill up.
A watering can?
Yes, a watering can. I knew that.
We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Hey, Indianapolis. I'm Scott McCauley, the voice of the Marian University Knights football program. The Knights are on a roll and undefeated at home, and tickets are on sale now for this weekend's homecoming game. Get your tickets now for this Saturday's in-state contest as Marian hosts Taylor at 1:05 p.m. at St. Vincent Field. We can't wait to see our alumni and Marian families this weekend. Buy your tickets now at muknights.com and click the tickets link. Pricing starts at $10.
Hey, everybody, let's do it. Caesars Sportsbook. Here's why they're the best. I'll get into it in a second, especially with these Caesars rewards. That's offering something that nobody else can. But here's what's great. Your first bet with Caesars Sportsbook, it's on Caesars up to $1,250, and all you need to do is download the app and use the promo code RADIOFULL. That's RADIOFULL, Radio Full. Caesars Sportsbook. Download that app today. And listen. Place the first bet. If you win, fantastic. If you don't, you're going to get that stake back in site credit. Colts and Titans, 3.5-point favorites of the Colts. Go with that or whatever else you might be looking for across the board. As far as week number 4 of the NFL season is concerned, just make sure you do it with Caesars Sportsbook, the absolute best. I mentioned Caesars Rewards, the only folks that can offer you tickets, free stays, experiences, and more. So download the Caesars Sportsbook app. Use that promo code RADIOFULL today. Get going with me. Open to new users in Indiana who are 21 years or older. A qualifying bet loses, bet amount returned. As a site credit must be used within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Or if someone you know that has a gambling issue and wants help today, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for their e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com/Peaks-Club. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, unleashes the spirit of Las Vegas with BetMGM rewards. Every time you make a wager at BetMGM, you can earn BetMGM rewards points that you can then redeem for online bonus credits like free bets. It's never been easier to join the action on the new BetMGM app, featuring a fresh redesign with improved features and quicker navigation. Planning a trip to Vegas? You can also convert your BetMGM points into MGM rewards points that you can use towards dining, shows, and hotel rooms at over 20 MGM properties located on the Las Vegas Strip and nationwide. BetMGM Rewards is sports betting's premier loyalty program, including exclusive offers, incredible experiences, and valuable perks when you wager with BetMGM. Sign up with BetMGM or log in today to take advantage of BetMGM rewards. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Indiana only. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Verizon Connect has a new AI dash cam with dual cameras. It's sleek, simple, and easy to install. Oh, and did I mention it's AI smart? It'll give your team real-time alerts.
Tailgating.
And each video is automatically classified and sent to your team, giving you context to help coach your drivers. Best yet, it seamlessly works in one platform that tracks your vehicles, dispatches jobs, and much more. See how Verizon Connect can help manage your fleet at VerizonConnect.com/radio.
I love that high school sports are about so much more than winning.
I couldn't agree more. While the immediate goal might be to win a game or championship, the real purpose of high school sports is to develop good people, not just good athletes. I'm Robert Falkins, a proud South Bend LaSalle Lion.
And I'm Carrie Rosati, a proud Roncalli Royal. We're both assistant commissioners of the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
In education-based athletics, we care just as much about how student athletes are performing in the classroom as we do about how they're performing on the playing field.
That's because high school sports are a tool to build the character of student athletes, not just their athletic skills.
Developing the whole person rather than just the athlete. That's what high school sports in Indiana are all about.
Support the real purpose of education-based athletics by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is training good athletes. This is developing better people. This is your IHSAA.
With PXG Golf Clubs, performance is in the bag. Get custom fitted for your new PXG sticks at the Golf Club of Indiana. Located in Whitestown, the Golf Club of Indiana's Performance Academy offers a private PXG fitting bay to get you fully dialed in with PXG clubs that are optimized for distance, accuracy, and feel. To schedule your custom PXG fitting experience at the Golf Club of Indiana, call 480-435-7803 or visit pxg.com. PXG. Nobody makes golf clubs the way we do. Period.
Take the next step in your construction career by becoming a union carpenter.
Some of the best pay in the industry.
Amazing health and retirement benefits.
Ongoing cutting-edge training.
Creating my own career path so I can do what I love.
High safety standards.
Great employment opportunities. Why will you join the Carpenters Union? Join the 75,000 men and women in Indiana who build our communities. For more information, visit the Construction Industry Partnership at indianacip.com.
College football this Saturday on The Fan is brought to you by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer serving Central Indiana.
It's the Colts VIP Tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Make your game day experience the best it can be. Log on and get your tickets now. It's bullseyeeventgroup.com.
It's Kevin and Query.
2 seconds left, and the Colts are going to win.
Performance versus result. And flat out, the Colts just needed a result.
This is what the Colts do and what they've done, right? You write them off, and then they go into San Francisco and they win. You write them off, they go into Buffalo and they win. Now what they have to do is build on that.
In all seriousness, and I know this might sound like a joke, Chris Jones deserves a game ball.
Totally.
Chris Jones should go in the Colts Ring of Honor.
Kevin and Query.
Weekday mornings at 7.
On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Just the two of us. Ooh, that's a good one right here.
Grover Washington Jr. on saxophone.
Well, that's what's his nut singing right here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was under the...
Oh, I know. Grover Washington Jr.
It was like Santana made all these albums, but it's like Rob Thomas singing or Steve Winwood. That's Bill Withers singing that.
The late, great Bill Withers.
Yeah.
And one of the great songs of the 1970s, Lovely Day.
That's why on that song, Just the Two of Us, it has the lengthy saxophone front and center. Just like every Santana song with somebody else singing, it has the cool guitar riff in the middle of it.
Tag and JMV, Kilroy's Downtown Bud Light Blue Friday. In fact, I think in the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to start giving away these tickets. We have 7 pair for you. So, join us down here, now, Kilroy's Downtown.
Are you supposed to say 7 pair or 7 pairs?
I'll say pair, as in you get a pair. These are a pair of tickets. The pairs are the 7.
7
all
pairs.
Together.
Okay.
The pair that we're giving away would be just 2.
So, okay, I got you. Do you say tournament or tournament?
I say tournament.
Me too. I've tried to say tournament. I just can't do it.
Do you say turd or turd?
Both.
Hey, by the way, if the app isn't working, let me know. Some have informed me that the app is functioning fantastically right now. Others, like Corey Kenny, says, what is going on with the app? Is this a situation, Kyle, where we've got to reboot this? Start over again if you're having issues with it, Give Give me some technical advice.
If some people are able to get it, I would maybe try deleting the app, re-downloading it, and giving it another go.
Yes. Give it a try. Shout out to John McClane, not John McClane, formerly of the Houston Chronicle, not John McClane from Die Hard, but John McClane, who's a listener to the show.
There you go, John.
John McClane. So, hey, if it's not working, man, reboot that bad boy and then let me know what happens right there as well. Again, live at Kilroy's downtown. I think Wells is with Layla at a doctor's appointment right now, so we'll wait on Mike from ESPN Radio, and he can join us whenever he can. JMV, you had mentioned you haven't been to the movie theater since when? What date was it? September 21st, 1999. September 21st, 1999, the Shiloh Theater in Avon. And even though it was released back in May, it was to see Star Wars Episode 1, and it so profoundly sucked.
It turned you off forever.
I thought, you know what? I'm just done with all this.
You know what would blow you? If you went into this would be like this would be like in one of the Back to the Future movies. If you went into a theater now, it'd be like when he goes into the future and sees all the modern things.
Yeah,
there's they have bars.
Oh, I know. It'd be like Charles Ingalls going to Sleepy Eye.
They have
oh my!
They have chicken fingers and cheese sticks, and you get your own. You butter your own popcorn.
Yes,
the movies are in color now.
I know.
They're talkies.
Yes.
They have
I don't
audio.
have to read subtitles. Exactly.
Yeah, it's. I love going. They have seats. You pick your seat before you go, so you know where you're sitting. You don't have to go in there and look for one and do the tag.
That's a lot of work for me to do. I just want to walk in.
There are recliners. You can lay back in the seat. You can sleep through the movie if it's bad.
Can I just walk in and have Mark Ratner take my ticket, tear it in half, and go sit down? Can we not do that anymore?
Poor Mark Ratner.
Come on, man. I don't want to do all that crap.
One of my simple pleasures in life is going to the movies. And as you know, I'm off on Fridays. So you roll into a movie like at 2 o'clock on a Friday, no one in there. It's like you have your own theater, which of course you have in your palatial estate down there.
Oh, yes.
In Bargersville.
Yes.
So yeah, it's you need to go. Maybe I'll treat you on your next birthday. We'll go to a daytime movie.
I've never been to a movie with my kids.
Father of the Year.
Ever.
John Michael.
Yeah, but by the way, I did see, and shout out to CG, I saw Lainey and her class. They had a field trip today. They were outside the State House, and that's where I got injured when I ran over there and stepped on something, hurt my foot. But it appeared that we're now at a point now where Lainey may be just a little bit embarrassed about my presence with her friends.
I think that happened a long time ago, to be honest.
I think the basketball girls would be different, but this was her classmates that don't normally see me. I think there was a tad bit of embarrassment happening with my 12-year-old daughter, Hagan.
I was in 6th grade. I was in a mall in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and my dad put his arm around me walking through the mall. And I just remember instinctively, I slung his arm, like, what are you doing? So now you look back on it, you're like, man, that was kind of a D-bag move. I bet that probably hurt his feelings, but that's what happens.
My mom used to yell at me while I was playing basketball, and I'd tell her to shut up.
During the game?
During the game.
Oh, no, shut up. That explains a lot about
would you shut up?
Golly.
Shut up.
You know what? I would have left the game and gone home and said, hey, champ, good luck getting home.
Here's the thing, and this has changed right now. I don't know how many of you see this in basketball, and I don't want Lainey doing this. And Lainey and I have talked about this, and I think the stuff, I have pared down my reactions in games to the point now where I just kind of sit there very stoically with a straight face like I'm at a poker table. Because anything I do after something that goes, let's say, non-successful, anything I do, if she were to look over and see a reaction or a face palm, I can't do any of that. So I just sit there with my arms crossed, like I'm at a poker table.
You got to be like Archie Manning. Remember they'd always find Archie, and he looked like Woody Allen. He was wearing those big black glasses, and he had a ball cap on. He's like at the World Series of Poker final table. That's what you have to do. I bet that. Well, we're trained to do that because people always say, you must love to go to all those games, but we have to sit there, and you can't yell and go, oh, you can't. Otherwise, you'll get cussed out by the front office of the Baltimore Ravens.
Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline from ESPN Radio, fresh out of a doctor's appointment. As Kyle back at the studio rolls a song from 1991 that Mike Wells was supposed to go see Jodeci with me last Friday, and it never fails. I had a Mike Wells Bales. He joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. Hello, Mike.
Listen, last week Layla killed my opportunity to see BBD and Josie. Layla had me late today so she can go get her flu shot and all that type of stuff. Layla, how do you feel about having Dad miss these things with JMV because of what you're doing?
I don't really care.
Wow. Hey, wow. She truly said she doesn't care. Did y'all hear that?
She said, I don't really care. She went, does
Layla not understand that this revolves around me? Of course she cares.
Jay said it revolves around him, and you're going to say he doesn't care.
But does it really?
Basically, she's saying, hey.
Wow.
She's basically saying F Dad, but for Jay, I'll do anything for him. So I'm getting the short end of the straw out of this.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, a classic performance from Belle Biv DeVoe. You know that they didn't even close. They were like the middle band. It went SOS Band, BBD, and then Jodeci. And Belle Biv DeVoe just blew everybody away. Incredible.
Really? Hey, so I saw you were hanging out with our man Kyle at the performance.
Yes.
So it was a winner, man. You had a great time?
What's that, buddy?
You had a great time there?
I did. I sat. My new boss was there. Of course, when he asked, "Hey, I thought you had two with you. I thought I got you 2 tickets," and I said, "Well, about Mike Wells."
Oh,
yeah. Layla kind of put me in a situation with my boss too, my new boss. I'm gonna say, it's okay.
Jay's got a brand new boss, and he was wondering where I was at last Friday night.
Yes.
Wow, they got a new boss at the radio station, and he thought I was yeah.
I didn't miss the whole game.
Yeah. Oh man. So no offense, I love you, Jay. I love Kyle, but I was more looking forward to listen to talking about they were fiending for everybody in the audience, man.
Well,
and
I will tell you this: Casey and JoJo and the rest decided not to roll out there until about midnight. So, I mean, I was going, "Hey, fellas, can you hustle it up for us older people out here?" They were taking their sweet time, Wells. They were.
They didn't get out on the stage until midnight. Almost?
I believe it was around midnight. Yes. So I had to, and see, my 52-year-old bladder. It was like the red light was flashing on it. We were getting near time critical on Friday night. True story.
Wow. Hey, I would have had to take a nap somewhere in the corner there and then return when they came out with some "come and talk to me" or lately or something, man.
Yep. It was great though. BBD was incredible. Those guys still put on, and they didn't have the paperweight that was Bobby Brown to have to take a knee and rest during any of the songs. So they were awesome. I mean, absolutely awesome. Hey, I want to get into this. We've been giving our opinion regarding this matchup with the Titans this weekend. Mike Wells of ESPN Radio's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. What are you thinking about this? Anything you take away from their first win of the season against Kansas City that you can give to this matchup on Sunday, believing that the Colts might be on the right track here?
Man, God, I mean, just think about this, though. Had Chris Jones not been a freaking idiot, the Colts would be sitting at 0-2-1. What I take out of it is, even though Matt Ryan had some fumbles, the connection with the tight end with Jelani Wood, that was big. And what is not, I think, deserves so much credit is the play of the special teams. The special teams on recovering the fumble. Obviously, EJ Speed being down the fake field goal. And, in this situation, I think special teams deserves a lot of credit for how they played and putting Kansas City in tough position. I don't think the Chiefs did their best, but give credit where credit's due. And the Colts did what they had to do because, boy, Monday would have been on fire at 3 p.m. had the Colts lost again.
Yeah, well, as we were talking earlier about the Colts, the lowest scoring team in the entire NFL. They've only scored 4 touchdowns all year, and one of them last week came on a 4-yard drive. Took them 3 plays to go 4 yards after the muff, and then they get gifted 15 yards and a new set of downs at midfield, or else that game's over. So that's 2 of their 4 touchdowns there. And then in week 1, they had the 20-yard touchdown drive after a turnover. So through 4 games and an overtime, they've mustered one legitimate, sustained scoring drive for a touchdown. One.
Hey man, why are you being a buzzkill, Hagan? Why are you being a buzzkill? But no, that is very alarming. And I mean, I was trying to be positive, but since we're going to talk about the alarming side of things, I mean, man, the protection, not only from the up front of the O-line, but the running backs, Jonathan Taylor not picking up blocks. How many free runs did the Kansas City Chiefs get at Matt Ryan last week?
Well, I mean, it's that, and then you talk about the twists and the stunts that Jacksonville did. I'm worried, Mike, that this is more of an epidemic type of situation than it is a quick fix. I mean, you see Braden Smith and Danny Pinter and Ryan Kelly especially, from the right side over to the center. You see them failing too much where, to me, it's more of the most about communication. It seems to be, to me, something, and hopefully not, but it seems to be something more deeply rooted.
You would like to think it's just communication because you can fix communication problems. If this is from a talent standpoint, it's beyond alarming because of, the ability they need to be able to open up holes for Jonathan Taylor, give Matt Ryan time in the pocket, and then also the element of how much money that front office has put into the offensive line, and meaning Braden Smith, Ryan Kelly, and Quentin Nelson. 3 of the 5 guys got hefty contracts from the franchise, and if they're not protecting, they need to start just peeing down their legs in fear, meaning the Colts, because it's going to be a long, long season if they can't protect and block.
Yeah, one time when Peyton Manning got this huge contract, they asked him what he was going to do. And he said, what are you going to do with that money? He said, earn it. And that's what that line needs to do. You got the big paydays. Now go out there and show why you earn those big contracts. And we were talking earlier, it's not like 37-year-old Matt Ryan was ever like a mobile quarterback. I mean, he's an athletic guy, but at 37, I mean, he can't run himself out of trouble like some of these other quarterbacks in the league. If he doesn't have time, bad things are going to happen. We've seen it: interceptions, fumbles, him getting up a little banged up with trouble. So, like you said, nothing good happens if the things up front don't get figured out.
And we talking about Matt Ryan, 7 fumbles in 3 games.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, seven fumbles in 3 games. I mean, let's call it what it is, fellas. The Colts should feel very, very fortunate that they have that one win on the schedule. So they should be very, very fortunate there's one win there.
And, Wells, what blows my mind is if they win Sunday, and then if Jacksonville does what's expected, but they've been surprising people, if Jacksonville loses at Philly, the Colts win Sunday, they're alone in first place. Think about that for a second.
What I'm thinking about is thank goodness for the AFC South, man. Thank goodness for the AFC South.
Absolutely, seriously. Hey, Mike, what stands out to me more than anything else this week has been, again, going back to the offseason and how important it is to finally get over on the Titans it is to the owner. And the owner has been outspoken in that capacity, whether it's the owner's meetings or, basically whenever he wasn't in the offseason talking about Carson Wentz and moving on, it was talking about how they need to get over on the Titans. So I think that magnifies this on Sunday even more with all of his offseason dialogue.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think the Titans are there for the picking. Yes, they beat the Raiders last weekend, but if there's a year for the Colts to finally say, okay, we're gonna sit here and we are going to yank division from the Titans, it's now. No A.J. Brown. Ryan Tannehill is just a quarterback, in my opinion. He's nothing great, and they got off to a slow start too. If the Colts have to win this game on Sunday, especially you got a short week and going to Denver next Thursday. So win, and all of a sudden things are in their favor. You mentioned the Jaguars, Hagan. Are you guys believing that the Jaguars have turned the corner? That they're no longer known just as a team that has the Colts calling them daddy down there in Jacksonville?
No, I believe that they are because of the same reasons we just talked about regarding the Colts still being in this thing, the way that they played, because of the division. Now, I think Doug Peterson and this group, they're going to get better. And that is going to be the biggest roadblock for everybody within this division moving forward. But this year, really anybody, if you cobble something together, especially if you're Jacksonville, you have that level of talent. The level of talent which is necessary to win in the NFL in this era. You got the quarterback, you got the edge rushing, you got the wide receivers now with Christian Kirk, who doesn't look too much like an albatross of a contract now, as he did a lot of people explaining that in the offseason. They have a lot of these components, Mike, to be really good, and certainly when you factor them in the AFC South, there's no problem with that whatsoever, I don't think. So, yeah, they're there. Hey, buddy, I got to run. Are you going to the Brownsburg-Zionsville game tonight?
Oh man, now I'm gonna sit this one out tonight. No Brownsburg, even though I need to go ahead and give shout out to Kevin Bowen and Brendan King. They're on the air tonight doing this game. Good luck to the fellas. I know they are going to kick booty on the air. I'm glad Bowen is getting that opportunity to shine at the station, because he and Brendan both deserve what the opportunities are getting there.
Well, not only that, make sure you tell Layla that I still love her, even though she drew you away. Yeah.
Even though you caused me to miss last Friday, he said he still loves you.
Yeah. No, yeah.
That's
my girl. That's my girl.
She said, love you too. And, hey, real quick, I know we got to go. Did you chaperone Laney and them downtown today?
I ran over there and met them. They had a field trip. It was Grace and Ava. We're both in her class and with her.
Wow.
Yeah, Grace was there too, and Ava was there too. But, I went and met them. And, Lady didn't want to have too much to do with me, unfortunately.
Trust me. Listen, Layla drug me to the game last week, but she kicked me to the curb. She didn't even want my money to pay to get in there. She paid for herself. That's how little time she wanted around me last weekend. But she had me miss a concert just so she can go hang with her friends. Fellas, have a great weekend. Hagen, my favorite 2'5" guy. You have a great weekend too, brother.
You got it. Mike Wells and Layla. Mike from ESPN Radio. Layla is just awesome.
I get shorter every time Wells talks to me.
That's Hagen, JMV, Kilroy's Downtown, Bud Light Blue Friday, 7 pair of tickets. We're going to start giving away coming up a little bit after 5. Voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fisher, staked out in Nebraska. We'll get to Don coming up after 5 as well. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Start a new career with a job that keeps your community safe. The Marion County Sheriff, Carrie Forrestal, is hiring detention deputies to work in the brand new Community Justice Center. You'll supervise and guard offenders, making Marion County a better place to live. Starting pay begins at around $40,000 a year with a $5,000 signing bonus. Enjoy great benefits like complete health coverage and pension plan. Start your career as a detention deputy and earn the respect of your community. Apply today at joinmcso.indy.gov.
Exmark makes the mowers that care for the lawns, that set the stage for the backyard life. As the commercial mowers more landscape pros trust, Exmark mowers get you on and off the lawn without compromising cut quality, comfort, or reliability. Exmark, official mowers of the backyard life. Check out end-of-season pricing on Exmark mowers and stand-on aerator rentals right now at Midstate Truck Equipment on Allisonville Road in Fishers. Midstate Truck Equipment, 800-540-4479.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
Get ready for kickoff, Indy. Rally House has the game day gear you're looking for, including Colts sideline gear and the latest college styles.
Pacers, Colts, Indiana Hoosiers, Boilermakers, Bulldogs, Fighting Irish. Rally House, it's your city, it's your house, it's a Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
Shot for Andy Moore Buick GMC. Hey! 131st State Road 37 in Fishers. Don't laugh at me. I'm just trying to talk about the absolute best to get you a new set of wheels. That's Eric Wilson. Talk to Eric today and then get this whole thing started. They have the inventory, the price tag. I'm going to tell you what, he and Andy and the gang up there, the service after the sale, unmatched. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience and you're ready to do it right now, go with the best. Eric Wilson and Indiana's best. Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37 in Fishers.
Jake Query here. Circle City Raceway comes back to life for the final time in 2022 as it's championship night for the Jonathan Bird's 410 Sprint Cars presented by Maston & Kane Warehousing and Services. Plus, the Shirley Unlimited Snow Company UMP Modifieds and Indiana Race Saver Wing 305 Sprint Cars. Adult tickets are only $10. Kids 8 and under are free. Circle City Raceway is family-friendly racing action, great food, free parking, and outrageous fun. We'll see you at the races. For more information, check out CircleCityRaceway.com.
Tim Tebow is the keynote speaker for Life Center's Celebration of Life banquet right here in Indy. Register at lifecenters.com for the banquet on Wednesday, October 26th at the JW Marriott downtown. This event is the largest fundraiser for Life Centers, a ministry that helps women making pregnancy-related decisions and provides baby and maternity items to local families. Don't miss Tim Tebow at the JW Marriott downtown on October 26th. Register at lifecenters.com. lifecenters.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Have you been thinking about a home equity line of credit? Maybe you have some questions about them. Well, the experts are here to help. A home equity line of credit is an easy way to pull out your equity without touching your current mortgage. Right now, your home equity is at an all-time high, but don't wait. How much can you get? Let's find out today by visiting thehomeloanexpert.com, home of the 10-day closing guarantee.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
It's the BullseyeEventGroup.com Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink, 3 hours before kickoff inside the Bullseye Event Center right across the street from Lucas Oil Stadium. Get your passes today. BullseyeEventGroup.com for the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat and the food presented by Food Network chef Aaron May. Bullseye Event Group offers indoor and outdoor climate control lounge seating for a VIP tailgate experience. All ages welcome. Go to BullseyeEventGroup.com and get your tickets now.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and reduce friction and wear. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $33.99. Try Syntec today, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Georgia Street Tailgates presented by Peterman Brothers are back. Drop by this Sunday from 10 to 1 for food, music, and more. Free entry. All ages welcome.
American Standards College Football Saturday begins when Iowa hosts Michigan. The coverage begins at 11:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberry.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I said, ooh, Kilroy's downtown. Bud Light Blue Friday. 7 pair of Titans Colts tickets to give away. What'd you ask me during the break that Kyle dropped in Mahomes? Who I would take?
I said, in real life, if you any quarterback besides Josh Allen, who would you take?
I said Lamar Jackson.
You said Lamar Jackson instantly.
Lamar Jackson's my fantasy quarterback, and I love him because not only is he a great quarterback and puts up big numbers, I know this is fantasy, but he's the 4th leading rusher right now in the NFL. He's better than 2 running backs.
You should have a fantasy segment and play Aldo Nova coming into it as the bump. Wouldn't that be awesome? It'd be a nice little inside joke for old people like us.
Play that on the JMV takeover.
I would take Herbert.
Would you?
Yeah.
Kyle asked why I wouldn't take Patrick Mahomes. Why would I take Mahomes?
You would take Lamar over both those guys, Herbert and Mahomes.
I guess I got to stick with it. I probably would. Yeah. Maybe I would. I mean, why would you not want to? What's the problem here?
What quarterback would you put on the Colts? How about that instead of just fantasy team? What quarterback would you put on the Colts?
I think probably because you want to more. You'd take Mahomes, wouldn't you? Still, even though Mahomes didn't look great last week.
Yeah. That's what's so crazy. Yeah. And I said it at the time, and not to bring it back to number 12, but I said when he retired, it was going to set the franchise back a decade, and we're halfway there almost.
You got to bail?
Yeah, I got to leave. I was going to leave when you weren't looking to do my Irish exit.
The stealth.
You ruined it. You ruined my stealth attack.
Out of here. All right, Chris Hagan, Fox 59, Sunday morning before the Colts game, correct?
The Blue Zone will be 11:30 CBS for the game only on Fox 59 at 1
Then you'll
o'clock.
catch us coming up on 59 Overtime with all the explanations you need about Week 4 and the Titans-Colts matchup on 59. Me, Hagan, and more. Sunday night.
10:35 p.m. Be there.
You got it. Chris Hagan, everybody. Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers, going to join us next. We'll start giving away tickets for Sunday's game, 2 7 pair on a Bud Light Blue Friday downtown at Kilroy's with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This is Ryan Newman for Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives. I love my family, and I appreciate every moment we spend together. We've talked about some pretty tough stuff over the years, and one thing they know for sure is that I've signed up to be an organ donor. So the next time you're with your family, take a moment and let them know you love them, and be sure they know your decision to be an organ donor. You can learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
Midterm elections are just around the corner, and you might have questions like, what should I be doing with my money now? Or, what could happen in the stock market if my side doesn't win? Join Edelman Financial Engines on Tuesday, October 11th at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern for our brand new webinar, The Elections in Your Portfolio, Separating Fact from Fiction. You can register now at efewebinar.com. You'll learn how the midterm election results can impact the stock market based on decades of market data. And you'll learn how to help position your portfolio for the elections and beyond. Don't miss this important and timely webinar. Join us for The Elections and Your Portfolio, Separating Fact from Fiction, on Tuesday, October 11th at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. There's no cost to attend and no obligation. Register now at efewebinar.com. That's efewebinar.com. Edelman Financial Engines. From here forward.
Hey, it's Avondale Distillery, Larceny Bourbon Locks, and Lunenazil Tequila Shots. I know we got a special Thursday edition because the Colts actually play this Thursday in Denver, but we're going to have our Larceny Bourbon Locks and Lunenazil Tequila Shots. We're at Joe's Grill in Westfield coming up on Thursday. Me and Brent, Nally, Miller, and the gang. Joe's Grill, Westfield coming up on Thursday. Our Larceny Bourbon Locks, Lunenazil Tequila Shots.
Nothing hits harder than this. 5-finger death punch. Under and over it. Tomorrow, Ruoff Music Center with Megadeth and special guests, The Who and Fire from the Gods. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the Coors Light concert series. New single Afterlife out now.
At Eskenazi Health, our patients are treated with compassion and skill. That's why Eskenazi Health is looking for professionals who share our mission and are dedicated to serving the community. As an employee of Indiana's top hospital for social responsibility and community health investment, you'll enjoy excellent benefits, competitive pay, and unwavering leadership support. Learn more about Eskenazi Health careers online at eskenazihealth.edu/careers.
What separates high school sports from other athletic programs? We keep education in front of athletics. I'm Paul Knighty, Commissioner of the IHSAA, and I'm thrilled to introduce our new Assistant Commissioner, Janie Elmer, because I know she shares the same passion for education-based athletics.
That's right, Paul. As a former principal, teacher, and Hoosier student-athlete myself, I understand firsthand how high school sports provide a complete educational experience for students.
The real benefit of playing in the second classroom of high school sports isn't just about teams becoming better athletes.
It's about them becoming better people, building character and developing the habits they need to be successful adults in life. Accountability, teamwork, respect, perseverance. These are just some of the life lessons learned on the playing field.
It's good to have another passionate advocate for education-based athletics on the team. Welcome aboard, Assistant Commissioner Elmer.
This is the second classroom. This is education-based athletics. This is your IHSAA.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game and a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Honoring the pursuit of brews and barrel-aged bourbon every Wednesday at the Bourbon and Brews Party. Get to Twin Peaks from 5 to 7 to experience a lingerie costume party paired with exceptional bourbons, tastings, and giveaways. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Football is back, and so is your chance to win with BetRivers Sportsbook app. Featuring our new multi-game same-game parlay. Combine the action of multiple same-game parlays in one bet for more action and bigger payouts. Bet the spread, bet the over, bet player props, and more. Throw in daily odds boost plus award-winning customer service, and it's a touchdown. Download it today.
Must be 21 plus. Available in Indiana only. Void where prohibited. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Text Spartan to the Mower Shop in Fishers at 317-849-9500 for $500 off select Spartan mowers with instant rebate on extended warranty. TheMowerShop.com.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our home has had Rhino Shield for 10 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Mets, Braves, Sunday Night Baseball. The action begins at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Hey, you gonna stare all day or you gonna buy something? I'm gonna stare all day.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Kilroy's Downtown Bud Light Blue Friday. We're going to start giving away tickets for the game Sunday. That's the Titans and the Colts. Round number 1, week 4 of the NFL. Hey, keep in mind, too, bullseyeeventgroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate, presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. The Ride with Me begins at 9 a.m., Bullseye opens up. I'll be up in Touchdown Town with my friends here at Bud Light for check that countdown to kickoffs at noon, but for the Colts pregame huddle. That's me, the Gorman, Joe Wrights, and Bill Brooks coming up on Sunday before the Colts and the Titans. All right, Chris Hagan with us a little bit earlier. Mike Wells from ESPN Radio also joined us a little bit earlier. Bob Lovell has been on this show too. We got John Price a little bit later on. We got your chance to win some tickets for Sunday. 7 pair to give away. So if you're not here, get here, sign up. Maybe you can go coming up on Sunday. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, I'm assuming staked out in Lincoln or somewhere near Lincoln, Nebraska in preparation for that game in the Big Ten coming up tomorrow night in Lincoln, IU and Nebraska. The voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fisher. He does join us. Your locale, Lincoln, Nebraska, presently?
Yes, we are in Lincoln as we speak at the Graduate Hotel downtown.
Well, heck, what's the plans tonight, Don? What are we doing?
Well, we're going to go to dinner someplace around 6:30. A bunch of us, the crew, obviously John Herrick and Rhett Lewis are going with me, and Jeff Kay, our sports information director, and his buddy Greg Campbell, who does most of the work. Jeff just designates who's going to do it. At any rate, so there's a bunch of us going out there. Yes, Jake Robinson.
Yeah. The kegger lives on Easy Street, doesn't he, Don? In full disclosure,
he pretty much just kind of dictates what people should do these days. I don't think he's, of course he handles the head coach and the little things that the head coach wants, but most everything else is done by the peons, if you know what I mean.
The kegger, everybody, right there. The job well done. Don Fisher joins us. He takeaways from last week, and I know that I was listening. It felt as if defensively it was brutal in that first half, and certainly that was the visual there. But your overall takeaways from last week in Cincinnati, Don?
The most disappointing thing to me, John, was just the inability to stop the big play in the first half, and then totally shut them down in the second half. I mean, the adjustments that were made obviously were significant, but they should have been made a lot earlier, I guess, is what I would say. It's just so hard to believe that defense got burned like that. This is a good defensive football team. I'm not saying they're great, not yet, but they are a good defensive football team, and they got just shellacked in the first half with big plays. That Cincinnati was able to run out to a 28-point lead at halftime, and it's almost impossible to overcome that for a college football team these days, unless you're one of the most dynamic offenses in the country, and we certainly haven't seen that out of Indiana at this point. So it's a bit of a question mark right now. The big problem I see tomorrow is that this is a Nebraska team that's had 2 weeks to prepare. This is the third team we played this year, John, that's had 2 weeks to prepare for Indiana because they follow a bye week. It's amazing in that regard alone. Nebraska, of course, is a team now under a new interim coach by the name of Mickey Joseph, and I think this guy's probably a good coach. they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this, and he's been in the position for 3 weeks now. So maybe they'll come up with something different. Their struggles have been mighty in the sense of winning close ball games. That's when they fail, it seems like. And so I'm sure Indiana's hoping to make this a close game tomorrow and kind of keep them in the same realm of endeavor that they've had over the last several years now, because Nebraska has really struggled to win close games.
So Don Fisher, who joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. One of the things that stood out to me was not just the secondary in particular. They not only got beat, Don, but they were getting beat by multiple yards. I mean, there was not a lot of close proximity in those pass plays. It was frightening. No. It was in that first half.
I mean, and think about it. This is against what is probably the strongest defensive backfield they've had in a long time. I mean, Devon Matthews has been struggling with some injury problems, so I get that to some degree at safety. But those corners, Tywan Mullen, who I have just a world of respect for, because I think that kid's really good, and I think he's always been a little undersized and fought through all of that, been a major factor for this football team. And likewise, Jalen Williams. Those two guys at corners are as good as just about anybody in the Big Ten, and yet they got just – and it had to be scheme. It had to be. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, because in the second half it didn't happen for Cincinnati, and a big part of that was what Indiana did. But I don't know what they were trying to do in the first half. Whatever it was, it just didn't work. And obviously they had to change, but it was way too late to get the win. And obviously the offense just didn't do a very good job at all in this ball game, running the football and, of course, protecting the quarterback, which was ridiculous.
Yeah. I will say this, though, when Don Fisher joins us, we kind of always look for somebody to step up and kind of be the guy, or in this case, have a relationship, a relatable with the quarterback. And Bazelak and Camper, that's become something, has it not, right now, offensively?
Oh, there's no question. That's the most dynamic part of the offense at this point, because Cam Camper, a junior college transfer who, developed late. That's why he wasn't recruited heavily by a lot of different programs. In fact, nobody was really looking at him from a Division I or Power 5 perspective. He goes to a junior college, and he comes to Indiana in his first season, becomes the leading receiver on this football team, and it's not even close. I mean, obviously they've got other guys that can catch the football, but DJ Matthews went out with an injury last week, and he didn't practice or didn't play, I should say. And then Anderson Kobe, who we also thought going into the season was going to be spectacular, has just been okay thus far. So without question, Cam Camper has been the star in this offense along with Bazelak. And Bazelak had a bad week last week, but let me just tell you, he was running for his life the entire ball game. He literally was under 50% in his percentage completions, but half the time he was throwing the football away because he had no time to get rid of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the case, right? I mean, offensively, that's what has been an issue in the past. It remains an issue right now. And I explained this, I guess, in terms, Don, of the Colts. With this particular group, if you don't fix that, then you're screwed. And same can be said on really all levels, and especially at IU. If you can't ever fix that or get anything even close to, any sort of protection, then you're host. You just really are.
Yep. I mean, the whole thing boils down to the offensive line, and we've said this from the very beginning of the season. That was going to be the question mark going into the year, and it continues to be the biggest problem on this football team. You've got to protect your quarterback, give him time to throw it, and you've got to open some holes for the run game, and that just isn't happening with any consistency whatsoever. And last week, certainly in the passing game, the blocking for the passing attack was just awful.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll give a great example, again, from a Colts standpoint. They say, well, it's communication, and we can fix that. And I just don't know what's fixable, what's doable, IU in that category right now.
One thing I'll tell you, John, and this is a little defense to the offensive line, as little as I could make, because there's not much there to really put your hat on. But they have been hurt. I mean, Bedford out for the year with the ACL after the first ball game. That has hurt them at right tackle, and it certainly has hurt them that Zach Carpenter hasn't been able to play at the center position in the last 3 ball games, or 2 ball games, I should say. And obviously, We hope he gets back tomorrow, whether that's snapping the ball or in another spot. We might see a change in that regard. Who knows? But if he is back tomorrow, you're back to your starting center, which would be very, very important to this football team because your starting center and your backup have both been hurt for the last couple of weeks. So right now we're just hoping that Carpenter can get back, and if he can, I think that will help this offensive line. To what degree, we'll have to wait and see.
So Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. IU Nebraska coming up tomorrow evening from Lincoln. I want to get to Nebraska because you brought it up. An interim coach. This has been a struggling, incredibly disappointing season where they had to cut loose Scott Frost a little bit earlier this year, obviously. Now, the one thing that they'd have going for them is, and you know this too, that IU right now is in the crosshairs and the focus of a team that not only just needs a win, but with an interim head coach and a group that has been talked negatively about the entirety of the season so far. They're going to look for somebody to make an attempt to take advantage of here, if you know what I mean. Make an example of, have a big game out of it. And like you mentioned, you come off an off week, they get an off week in preparation for IU, and there you go. You're kind of in the crosshairs with what should be a very motivated squad tomorrow night.
Well, and on top of that, and certainly without question, this is one of the finest places to come and watch a football game in the country. It's a phenomenal atmosphere. They sell out 385 consecutive sellouts going into tomorrow's game. They had a few tickets left earlier in the week, and I asked their SID, I said, any chance that this might be the first non-sellout you've had? And he says, none. He says it'll be sold out, trust me. So literally, it's going to be the 386 straight sellout. The atmosphere here when we came in 2019 was one of the finest I've ever seen in the college football atmosphere. It was just terrific, and I don't anticipate it'll be any different tomorrow. And on top of that, this is an offense that Nebraska has that can put points in the scoreboard. They are averaging just very close to 500 yards a ball game and just split it right down the middle almost in rushing and passing. They've got a running back named Anthony Grant, who is an NFL prospect, no question about that. Their quarterback, Casey Thompson's a veteran, and he's done a great job this year. He's got a wide receiver that's another prospect for the NFL that will be very good to key their passing attack. So they've got the tools offensively. Their defense has been their biggest problem. They were giving up over 500 yards on average a ball game going into this contest. Now, part of that was due to the fact that they played Oklahoma the first week under the interim coach, and, of course, everybody was wondering if this team was going to completely fall apart, and in that game they certainly were no factor. And they also had another ball game against North Dakota in which they were able to move the football against them. They just couldn't score enough. But this is a defense that could be had because they have not played up to their capabilities, or at least what we anticipate would be their capability going into this season. And that may get changed because they've also exchanged their offensive or their defensive coordinator. They've traded him out and elevated one of the guys that was under him to be the new defensive coordinator on this ball club. So we could see a lot of different stuff tomorrow, too, because of that on defense for Nebraska, which could confuse Indiana to some degree. So there are all kinds of negative factors going into this game from Indiana's perspective, and probably the most important factor now is, can Indiana get moving the football offensively and protect their quarterback enough to give him a chance to do his job?
Yeah, that's troublesome right there. Don Fisher joins us, and it really, you get a fan base you talk about that sells that place out, that is willing probably at this point, Don, to get juiced up at just about anything. You know what I mean? Positive for this team.
That's exactly right. I mean, they're hungry to turn this thing around, and Indiana coming in here with a 3-1 record, even though it's a questionable 3-1 record because of the comebacks that they've had to have to get that 3 wins. They got to be looking at this and ready to come out with fire in their eyes and everything else, because this looks like a real opportunity for them to maybe jumpstart the rest of the season as they restart Big Ten play as well. So it's going to be a very important contest for both of these teams. In my opinion, Indiana's got a great chance to do something special here and win for the second time in Nebraska in their last 2 appearances in this city, in Lincoln. And I think they've got an opportunity here too, and I'm going to be interested to see how they respond after their first loss of the season. And granted, it came on the road at a tough team like Cincinnati, but nevertheless, they didn't play well enough in the first half to even give themselves a chance, even though they were able to shut Cincinnati down a bit in the second half. But I've always said, if you're up by 28 at halftime, it's pretty hard to come out motivated to play your best football the rest of the game if you're the team that's got 28.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers, with us. 7:30 tomorrow night is the kick. 6:30. Your coverage begins with the pregame show downstairs on 93 WIBC. Hey, Don, I realize that this is completely out of your realm, and I know you don't pay attention to crap, especially crap on the internet. I was curious if you were privy. Sorry, that's a great way to phrase it, to ask a question. Feel free, by the way, to use that one of these days if you're phrasing the question that way. I know you don't listen to this crap, but here goes. Anyway, there's a former defensive line coach a couple of days ago, and I saw this. It was on a podcast. I don't even know where it is, but I saw it that referenced Tom Allen a couple of different times with his on-the-field actions as a clown. And while I think we both understand that Tom Allen doesn't give two craps about that whatsoever, I'm curious if the team that are obviously social media savvy and obviously care about their coach a great deal might seek and get a little bit of inspiration with those remarks that were made a couple of days ago by a guy that probably would be better served just shutting up with his history that we have seen online too. But they get any inspiration, draw any motivation, you think, out of that at all?
You're right. I don't pay any attention to it. Not on social media, and I rarely look at the internet. So I don't even know who made those comments, and I don't really care. I don't know about what the university or how they perceive that, and I haven't heard any scuttlebutt about it. Therefore, I'm not sure that it's on their radar, to be quite honest about it. But it may be. Tom Allen is no clown. Trust me. He's a fine man, number one. Number two, he's one of the most enthusiastic coaches I've ever been around. I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not sure that clown is the right terminology. I mean, they used that word for Lee Corso a lot back when he was the coach at Indiana in those 10 seasons and he was there. But I don't see the same kind of personality either. So I'd pretty much I'd probably regard that comment as silly.
Yeah, it was incredibly silly. It was really stupid, especially with this particular dude's background that everybody, in the era of social media, was privy to and went out and found it immediately and started posting it everywhere. I guess the reason why I bring it up is while you and I kind of look at it and, shrug our shoulders, you certainly more than me, and I'm sure Tom Allen doesn't care, but, you got a group of, teens, early 20s, completely social media savvy dudes that if you're looking for any more ways to get fired up, even, outlasting that Cincinnati game last week, I would think that maybe that would provide a little bit of a spark for somebody you care a great deal and very deeply about when somebody makes those particular comments. So, yeah, no doubt. That's why I asked.
Yeah, well, I understand. And like I say, I haven't heard any scuttlebutt about that. I'll probably ask when I go downstairs to do my pregame show with the coach and say, hey, did you hear somebody call you a clown?
Well, I mean, it was a former defensive line coach, and it was just something I saw via podcast a little bit earlier this week that a lot of you football fans were talking about. Yeah, so I asked Kegger, put Kegger on it.
A former defensive line coach at Indiana?
No, at Nebraska. Sorry, Nebraska.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
at Nebraska.
Got up on the bulletin board someplace.
Well, yeah, and maybe I didn't explain it. I probably should have, knowing that you probably hadn't seen it if it was on social media, but I didn't. I should have explained it better, Don, to be honest with you. But I was a former defensive line coach at Nebraska that made those comments. I'm just kind of curious with a younger group, looking for really anything, a little more inspiration. Because it's always funny, Don, when I have athletes on this show often. And, man, it's funny. They're already ultra-competitive, but it seems like 95% of these guys I talk to are looking for even more of an edge. You know what I mean? And if it's like a chip on the shoulder, just anything whatsoever to try to take that level of competition to a different level. I just kind of wondered if that could be something that this team could draw off of.
Well, I'm going to definitely check it out, my man.
Ask about it.
I
gave you a little something to ask, but yeah, it was interesting, to say the least. It was when I saw that earlier this week. All right, before we go here, Nebraska defensively, you explained against IU's offense. What's Connor Bazelak? What has he been to you so far through this season where we are right now at quarterback?
Well, if there's anything you could say about the guy, he's tough as nails. I mean, he has been hit. He was hit 13 times in that game against Cincinnati and sacked 5. He was running for his life in the first game against Illinois. He has showed me that he has all the guts in the world out there to play that position. He's still calm under pressure. He does the right things. He doesn't make many mistakes in that regard. He did have an interception last week, was probably his worst throw of the year in the sense of being picked off. But I think he's really solid. I think he is a really sound quarterback. I think he knows the game, and he demands the respect of his teammates. And so I don't think you could ask much more from a quarterback than what he's provided this team right now under the circumstances.
Well, and again, I equate everything, I guess, to the NFL level. But again, you can watch with the home team here when your quarterback runs for his life most of the time. That greatly affects decision making on all levels.
Yeah, absolutely, there's no question about that. And I've only really seen one game that Matt Ryan has played in for so far for the Colts, and I think it was the Jacksonville game, maybe a little bit of that one. And I couldn't believe, that they couldn't protect him better than that and give him more time than that. And that offensive line's supposed to be really good. And I'm not saying that they're not good. I'm simply saying in that ball game, they weren't. It's that simple.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Hey, what do we? I want to get a little basketball question in before I let you go here, Don. You got any early expectations as practice is getting underway with this Hoosier basketball team this year?
I know everybody's talking about Big Ten championship and a team that's got the capability of going to the Final Four, and I want to just put on the brakes there for a minute and just tell everybody, look, I think this team's going to be good too. There's no question in my mind they've got a talented group of kids. They got a veteran group of guys, and they've got some young talent that looks very inspiring. But at the same time, just remember this, the basketball season hasn't started yet, and they haven't played anybody yet. And until they do, we're not going to have a true interpretation of what we should expect at this point. And granted, I just like everybody else, I want Indiana to win a Big Ten title, get back in the hunt for a Big Ten title first, and then be a champion again. But right now, I can't call it. They haven't finished any higher than 9th in the Big Ten in the last 6 years. So think about it. I mean, that's a pretty big jump from 9th to number 1.
Yeah, I mean, really, in a lot of ways, I mean, Nebraska and the football program, but probably in the past, have asked some of the same questions about where it is and where it was in the same light as, what's been going down with the history of the IU basketball program. I guess there's some similarities to be talked about, Don, right there, right?
Yeah, well, there's no question. In fact, Greg Sharp, their play-by-play guy, called me up earlier this week, and he wanted me to do an interview with him, and I did so. And he brought up that very thing. He said, look, it's kind of like Nebraska football, Indiana basketball, the struggles that they've had over the last several years now of not being able to win very much and are not able to win like they were used to winning, if you know what I mean. So there's no question. These two programs, different sports, but the program's expectations in Nebraska are just as high for football here as they are in Indiana for men's basketball.
All right. So you don't have them going to the Final Four, right? Not yet?
Not yet, big boy. I don't make predictions. I really don't. I try not to. And every time that I'm the most optimistic is when we become when we lay an egg of some kind, if you know what I mean. Buck and I used to talk about this all the time. Don't say anything good, because then you're going to make me look like you got egg on your face every time you say something good.
Yeah, I know. I have that happen every day. Like every day. And then I come back and I go, damn it, why did I say that? How stupid was that? So, hey, by the way, who's buying dinner tonight? Will somebody buy it, or you guys all pay for your own?
Well, generally, we go out. Like Buck once a year would buy. I'd buy once a year. Everybody would And Jake would buy once in a while, too. Jake is the richest of all of us, incidentally, my engineer.
There's no doubt.
He's got his own studio. The guy makes money hand over fist. He's got national programs in his stuff. The guy is rich, and it's rare. It's rare that he pulls out the billfold. It's just
is Jake Robinson a dude that will he get up and go to the bathroom when he knows the check is coming? Is that what he does?
No, I've never seen him do that yet. No.
Hey, I guarantee you, freaking Jeff Keg gets up and goes to the bathroom. He knows that there's no way.
No,
he probably stays in there forever. You have to come and pry him out of the stall.
No, he wouldn't. He would never do that. But I guarantee he'd never buy either.
No doubt about that. All right. Hey, have yourself a fantastic night and dinner in Lincoln, and we'll hear from you coming up, 6:30 WIBC here locally, coming up tomorrow evening, and then 7:30 kick, right?
That's exactly right, John. You got it down.
All right. Now, do they have planes in Nebraska? Can Rhett Lewis get out of there and go someplace else, or will he have to take the covered wagon? How does he get out?
I think he'll be able to get out of Lincoln going west fine. The problem is getting to Lincoln from the east. And that's the good thing about a charter, because I did fly to Nebraska last year commercially, and I went to Minneapolis to Denver to Lincoln.
You went Minneapolis, Denver to Lincoln? Oh, my God. I would almost rather take a covered wagon out of there than that. That's terrible.
It was a bit of a problem, to say the least.
Hey, buddy, I appreciate it more than you know. Have a great call. We'll be listening tomorrow night, and we'll check in again next week, Don. Thank you.
You bet, John. See you.
Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers, right there on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. We've got 7 pair of Titans Colts tickets to give away. We'll start that coming up here on the other side. Kilroy's Downtown Bud Light Blue Friday. John Price and more coming up on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
What QC Kinetics is doing for people here is nothing short of amazing. I'm talking about real lasting relief from joint pain. I'm Kevin Bowen, and you guys have heard QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in exciting new pain treatments with advanced regenerative medicine, non-surgical alternatives. If you're living with joint pain from injury or arthritis, don't let them tell you that steroids or pain meds or surgery are your only options. QC Kinetics uses regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged tissue. Maybe you've been diagnosed with bone-on-bone arthritis and been told you need a replacement. Call QC Kinetics now for an alternative way to deal with the pain. These amazing protocols work with pain caused by injury as well, like a torn meniscus or rotator cuff. So call QC Kinetics now and don't keep living with that pain. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 463-235-7160. Locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160.
Hey, everybody, we've all heard stories, have we not? Sure we have, from friends and family about something really bad that happened. You're in an accident, there's a painful life-altering injury, huge medical bills, and wrongful death, all from someone else's fault. Some of you are dealing with it right now. And that's where the attorneys at Paul Ritchie Law Firm can help. Tony Patterson, Paul Cruz, and John McLaughlin lead a team with over 70 years of collective courtroom experience and millions of dollars in jury awards and settlements for their clients. Now, none of us can change the past. Just know that Tony, Paul, and John are on your side to help you and your family going forward. They're recognized by super lawyers and U.S. News and World Report as being among the leading injury lawyers in Indiana. So even if you're unsure you have a case, give Paul Ritchie a call. They'll listen and give you their free experienced legal opinion. 317-269-2509 or visit parinjury.com. That's P-A-R-R injury.com.
Hi, this is Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities and the volunteers who use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live. In the past year, we've had the honor of recognizing many fellow Hoosiers who go above and beyond. Do you know someone who volunteers their time at a local animal shelter or leads a park cleanup or delivers meals to those who need a little extra help? If so, nominate them for the Jiffy Lube Do More program at jiffylubeindiana.com. Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep your vehicle on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more. Plus, we've been Indiana's favorite locally owned oil change since 1985. So visit jiffylube.com, do more to nominate someone in your community. That's jiffylube.com, do more.
Bowling, 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 keep them balls a-rolling. Bowling, bowling, bowling.
Royal Pin.
Make your plans now for a fun holiday party at any Royal Pin Entertainment Center. Treat your employees to a great time with bowling, appetizers from chips to heavy hors d'oeuvres, food packages from pizza to prime rib, and a wide range of party options from just bowling to laser tag, limitless VR, go-karts, arcade, and more. You can upgrade with adult beverages, craft beer, premium spirits, and frozen drinks. Want a custom party? Their sales team can make it happen. Reward your team for their hard work. Email events@royalpin.com or visit royalpin.com to book today.
Set them up, knock them down, send them flying, spinning round.
Hurry, space is filling up fast. That's royalpin.com.
Royal Pin, bowling, bowling. Royal Pin, bowling.
Hey, it's John here for Diamonds Direct. If you have a big gift-giving idea, an anniversary or a birthday, or maybe you're going to pop the question, right? Take that relationship to the next level. Go with Diamonds Direct because right now, 5 years, 0 interest and nothing down for a limited time. That's at Diamonds Direct. So it allows you to splurge. You can go big on that anniversary gift, on that birthday gift, or even if you're looking for an engagement ring, everything in the store, 5 years, 0 interest and nothing down right now for a limited time at Diamonds Direct. Online at diamondsdirect.com. Store hours, location, and more on approved credit. That's Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
Start a new career with a job that keeps your community safe. The Marion County Sheriff, Carrie Forrestal, is hiring detention deputies to work in the brand new Community Justice Center. You'll supervise and guard offenders, making Marion County a better place to live. Starting pay begins at around $40,000 a year with a $5,000 signing bonus. Enjoy great benefits like complete health coverage and pension plan. Start your career as a detention deputy and earn the respect of your community. Apply today at joinmcso.indy.gov.
Jake Query here. Circle City Raceway comes back to life for the final time in 2022 as it's championship night for the Jonathan Bird's 410 Sprint Cars presented by Maston & Kane Warehousing and Services. Plus, the Shirley Unlimited Snow Company UMP Modifieds and Indiana Race Saver Wing 305 Sprint Cars. Adult tickets are only $10. Kids 8 and under are free. Circle City Raceway is family-friendly racing action, great food, free parking, and outrageous fun. We'll see you at the races. For more information, check out CircleCityRaceway.com.
If you're serious about selling your home, call Mark Dietel and his team today at 317-755-4232 or online markdietel.com. That's markdietel.com today.
Want to explore using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits to heat and cool your home or business? Learn more at absolutecomfort.org. That's absolutecomfort.org.
The Ride with JMV.
I am in the parking lot right now, hammering a bacon, egg, and cheese, hold the cheese, in preparation to go deep with 4 hits and put on a laser show to the likes of which you have never witnessed in your entire life.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fisher with us. Thank you so much on the podcast, 1075thefan.com. Fantastic. Kilroy's downtown, Bud Light Blue Friday. Thanks again for joining us, as you always do. Got tickets to give away. I know Olivia's going to start giving us some tickets to give away. 7 pair, in fact, for the matchup coming up on Sunday between the Colts and the Titans. Again, 9 a.m., Bullseye Event Center. I get you started with that. Then, of course, 10 a.m., we're going to get you started with the Colts pregame huddle in Touchdown Town with our friends from Bud Light on Sunday. Me, the Gorman, Bill Brooks, and Joe Wright's all coming at you again on Sunday. 9 a.m. for me, 9 until 10 a.m. for the Bullseye Event Center, and then 10 a.m. until noon for the Colts pre-game huddle. Countdown to kickoff with Matt, Rick, and Lara begins at noon, and you've got a massive game coming up on Sunday. Meantime, when you think about the Colts from this standpoint today, injury-wise, the good news, I guess, we'll see if maybe Shaquille Leonard can make his 2020 Colts debut. He has been listed as questionable. Find out a little bit more as that game time approaches. Julian Blackmon, the safety, will not be a part of it. He has been ruled out. again, for that matchup coming up on Sunday. So no Julian Blackmon, but Shaquille Leonard just maybe will get his season started in week number 4 against the Titans. Coming up on Sunday. Meantime, via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he joins us every single Friday right here. We absolutely love it. John Price rejoins us talking about a lot of things, including Week 4 of the NFL and the Colts and the Titans. Hello, John. How are you?
I got to tell you, your Indianapolis Colts remind me a lot of my golf game. Okay, when I get out on the golf course, I don't have the best of luck, and I think, man, I'll tell you, this is really not going anywhere. And then I hit a couple great shots, and now I feel like I'm the best golfer in the world. That was an impressive win last week against the Chiefs. I mean, we're talking nobody saw this win coming, and it might change the complexion of the Indianapolis Colts season. We're going to talk about the Colts-Titans game here in a moment. But one thing I definitely want to do is kind of reset something that we did last week. You know, here's the trend that seems to happen in September. We talk about a promotion on the radio, people hear it, and then they go bet on their own on Saturday. They don't do very well. They bet in the early games on Sunday. They don't do very well. And then we get the emails and calls looking for the 5 plays for $149 to save the weekend. And the problem is that most of the games are out already. So we want to give people, and we did get some people from Indy who contacted us during the day on Sunday, as we did other radio markets. We want to give people a chance to do this and get in the games before they start. Same deal as last week. 5 plays, $149 with a guarantee we will win at least 3 of these plays, or you get 60 days of service with my company for free. You go to our website, sportsinformationtraders.com. You'll see on the homepage the promotion that I'm talking about. If you're a brand new client and you have a place to bet, you qualify. Lock it in. We've got tomorrow's games. We'll get you on them within the hour. Go to our website, sportsinformationtraders.com, and get the 5 plays for $149 with a 3-game guarantee winner.
Got John Price with us, sportsinformationtraders.com or 866-441-2711 for John. Again, sportsinformationtraders.com today. I know we got that 3.5-point deal between the Colts and the Titans coming up on Sunday. A little bit of your expertise as far as how you I thought, expertly described the Colts so far this year. But what about this matchup within the division with the Titans on Sunday, John?
Well, yeah, the line opened up at Colts -3. It's now at 3.5. So you see that underdog money go more into the negative. You can see the Colts are getting a little bit of a public money lean this week, and why not? After beating the Chiefs, I think people are starting to kind of take a closer look at this team. And you know, I got to tell you something. This defense was just unbelievable last week. They only gave up 3 second-half points to the Chiefs and 0 in the last 22 minutes of that football game. This week, they need to make sure their ground defense is much, much better. Derrick Henry is coming to town. For the Titans, they're coming off a strong win over the Raiders. I expect them to play a tight, conservative game and pick their spots to throw the ball. In terms of wagering, Colts-Titans, to me, is always going to be a tight football game. It doesn't matter if it's 40-38 or if it's 17-16. These two teams must have magnets, because they always end up in closer scoring games. So this is what I'm going to do. For value purposes, I'm going to take the Titans plus 3.5 over the Colts. Now, if you don't know what that means, the Colts can win by 1, 2, or 3, and I still win the bet. So I will take the points. I think the Colts will win the football game, but that's not going to be one of our 5 plays. And I would tell everybody in Indianapolis, and we've heard from many of you, now is the time to do the promotion, not Sunday afternoon. You want my 5 plays? Go to our website, sportsinformationtraders.com. It's $149. I guarantee you right here on the radio that we will win at least 3 of these 5 plays, or you will get 60 days of free service with my company, which is basically through Thanksgiving. Let us show you. Let me do the work, play my games, take the pressure off, win with me. Go to our website and get started right now, sportsinformationtraders.com.
You know, it's funny, and John Price joins sportsinformationtraders.com today for that deal. You mentioned that it's always seemingly a close game. I think, by and large, you look at the Colts and the Titans, and they've been constructed in similar fashion. And with the Titans, something I talked about a little bit earlier, and we're not going to get in depth in it, but it was just something that I thought was you take A.J. Brown out of the equation, and that threat's not there. It's not even the production we're talking about, but in the game, it's just that threat that's not there. And you look at it, and these teams are pretty built, I think, with the same type of long-term vision, I would guess, in mind. They want to run it. They want to play some defense. They both rely on their offensive lines. I guess in this case, John, Tennessee's lost on both sides, whether it's Landry on the defensive side and Lewan on the offensive side. But I think for the most part, these teams are kind of built like one another as to why that these always seem to be close games.
I think you are 1,000% right. You think about this for a minute. The most valuable tool on both offense are the two running backs. I mean, you look at Taylor and you look at Henry, and those two guys are going to be the tone setters, not necessarily, the quarterback play, Tannehill and Ryan. And then you have two teams that know their defenses need to be well and be strong to win football games. This is how the Colts were able to hold on for a tie earlier this year. That's how they were able to neutralize an offense like the Chiefs. The Titans are the same way. They don't have an explosive offense, so they need to rely on their defense. And when you put these two forces together, they often end up like in a seesaw match where it's, 20-17, and then it's 23-20, and then it's 27-23. And in the end, it always comes down to a kick that goes through or doesn't go through. And so for wagering purposes, in a game like that, you want to take the underdog points so you can cover. But I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I would love to see the Colts build off of that win over the Chiefs, make it count, and that's something that will definitely help them for the rest of the year. And I hope when we're talking next week, we're talking about a 2-game winning streak,
It's John Price right there with a great deal. All you have to do is log on, sportsinformationtraders.com. Again, sportsinformationtraders.com. John Price on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. John, thank you very much as always, and have a great weekend. We'll do it again next Friday.
Absolutely. Thank you.
John Price, sportsinformationtraders.com. Kilroy's downtown. We're going to start giving away some of these tickets. 7 pair, courtesy of Bud Light. On a Bud Light Blue Friday, we've got Titans Colts tickets to give away, and a shout to Eddie in Silverdale, Washington. He says, hey, man, my son Logan and I are listening on the way to camping in the Olympic National Forest in the state of Washington for his 13th birthday. Maybe a shout out. So Logan and Eddie in Silverdale, Washington, the state of Washington, going camping. Thank you guys for listening out there to us. We'll come back, close out this portion of. We'll continue to give away tickets and then start Colts Happy Hour. Coming up at the top of the hour, Bud Light Blue Friday, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Nothing hits harder than this. 5-finger death punch. Tomorrow, Ruoff Music Center with Megadeth and special guests, The Who. And Fire from the Gods. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the Coors Light concert series. New single Afterlife out now.
Diamonds Direct's unbelievable zero-interest finance offer is coming to a close, but you have until this Sunday to take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing on any purchase. Now more than ever, it's the smartest way to buy. You can get that engagement ring or fabulous piece of designer jewelry and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. This amazing offer is good through this weekend only. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get all the details, including special Sunday hours, at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. Owner Beth Rovazini has a quiz you can take to help decide whether fixing or replacing is a better option for that older system.
Joe, we've gone through and made a list and assigned points to different things to help you decide when is it time to repair and when is it time to replace. A properly installed system should last 15 to 20 years, and sometimes when you get in that 10 to 15 year, you don't know.
B+W.com for the quiz from B&W, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hey, you're looking for the best in plumbing? I'm going to give you the best in plumbing. Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. Keep in mind, 83 or free, any drain in your home, if it's clogged, they will unclog it for $83 or the visit is free. That's Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. And something I always remind you of is emergencies. All right, you really don't think about your plumbing situation until there's an emergency. You go to flush the toilet, there's no water. You turn the water on, there's no water. Anything like that, a burst pipe. Always count on Lance and his local team in terms of emergencies. That's LD Smith. That's the only thing that's going to mess me up right there. LDSmithPlumbing.com today.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Not only do we have lower rates, but with our lock-in shop program, we can lock you in at the perfect time and protect that rate for up to a year while you search for your dream home. Then in the future, if rates come down, with a simple refinance, we can lower that monthly payment. Everything starts today at thehomeloanexpert.com. Home in the 10-day closing guarantee.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
It's the BullseyeEventGroup.com Colts VIP Tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink, 3 hours before kickoff inside the Bullseye Event Center right across the street from Lucas Oil Stadium. Get your passes today. BullseyeEventGroup.com for the Colts VIP Tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat and the food presented by Food Network Chef Aaron May. Bullseye Event Group offers indoor and outdoor climate control lounge seating for a VIP tailgate experience. All ages welcome. Go to BullseyeEventGroup.com and get your tickets now.
Georgia Street Tailgates presented by Peterman Brothers are back. Drop by this Sunday from 10 to 1 for food, music, and more. Free entry. All ages welcome.
The Colts host the division rival Tennessee Titans. Coverage Sunday morning at 10 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Kilroy's downtown. That's okay, Dre. Go ahead and bring it over here. Hey, we're back. We're giving away tickets right now, too. Hey, Kyle, you think I should do this on the air? You think this person's listening on the air if they're not here right now? What do you think? Or should I keep this in-house here?
You going to explain the reason why you kind of paused in your last live read?
Yeah, so, okay. So I'm reading, and I'm not reading, I'm actually just talking about LD Smith Plumbing, the best in the business in plumbing. Lance and his local team at LDSmithPlumbing.com. And they had to haul somebody out of here. And he was a little dude, and he what would you call that, Todd? What kind of hold was that? It was a full Nelson with his little guy. My man, hey, I thought the little guy was a puppet. I thought he was going to start. Wait a minute. The full Nelson, and he just took this dude out. And my first thought is, it's not even 6 o'clock yet. What kind of person gets hauled out of here in a full Nelson before 6 o'clock? Is that a first timer before 6 for you? Oh, has it happened before 6? Dude, you're a badass. You took him out of here. He was a little bitty dude. I thought he was like a puppet. Yeah. But no, that's why I stopped, because one of the guys here had to haul out a malcontent, and Kyle, he had him in a full Nelson. And we should have got that inside the lounge via YouTube Live. That would have been impressive. You actually could have seen it walking out, but I think we were in break, though, so you wouldn't have seen it. But, man, in a full – now, this guy was just kind of dangling from a clothesline right there a little bit. It was incredible. Hey, I'm looking in here, by the way, everybody. Is Patrick Thiem in here? Patrick, come on up here. You're a winner. Patrick Thiem is a winner. We're giving away Titans-Colts tickets. Go ahead and see Olivia. Olivia will set you up. I got 4 more pair to give away coming up here in the 6 o'clock hour during Colts Happy Hour coming up at the top. By the way, too, this reminder, me and you, 9 a.m., that is the Colts ride to kick off with me from Bullseye's Event Center with BullseyeEventGroup.com. Hey, remind me of that, too, Billy. That's coming up on Sunday morning, 9 until 10 a.m., and then I'll bail out of there and head to Touchdown Town for what is going to be the Bud Light Touchdown Town. We'll be there for you on the Colts pregame huddle beginning at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. until noon for that. But it all starts with me coming up at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning in front of week number 4 to check out the Colts and the Titans in a big one within the AFC South. There's Jeff Page in the house right there. Julian Blackman will not participate on Sunday. However, there is a chance, he's listed as questionable, that Shaquille Leonard makes his season debut for the Colts coming up on Sunday. We shall see. We'll see if that happens. But again, there's a chance he is listed as questionable that he plays. A couple of other things, too. I mentioned Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers in Nebraska, joined us. You got IU Nebraska coming up tomorrow night. 7:30 is that kick. 6:30 a pregame coverage is downstairs on 93 WIBC for that. Boilermakers in Minnesota. By the way, both of these games are large, but for Purdue, that is really big. Now, Kyle, nothing has changed in the afternoon, right? Is Aiden O'Connell, the quarterback, still a game-time decision as we sit here and talk right now?
I haven't seen anything
up tomorrow afternoon?
So I haven't seen anything, so it's probably a game-time decision.
Yeah, I think when I sat down here, it was certainly still game-time decision, and that's the expectation of that being a game-time decision. Mike Wells of ESPN Radio a little bit earlier. Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk tonight, brought to you by CarX, CarX.com, your 14 Central Indiana CarX locations. Our high school football game of the week, brought to you by CarX tonight, will feature Zionsville hosting Brownsburg. And by the way, Brendan King is on the call, and Kevin Bowen of the morning show, Kevin Bowen of Kevin and Query. Kev has the color analyst work along with Brendan King coming up here at 7 o'clock. Your high school football game of the week, again, will feature Zionsville hosting Brownsburg. By the way, for me tomorrow night, I've got a JMV takeover on B105.7 all request style. That starts tomorrow night at 6 p.m. B105.7. It is going to be a hairband weekend, so I got a lot of hairband songs I'm going to play, all request style anyway. But we will throw out a tribute, a Sky Point, and an RIP to Coolio at the start of the show tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Some of the classics from the late, great Coolio to start the show, the JMV Takeover, coming up tomorrow night. That begins at 6 o'clock. Cam said the last time that I saw a movie, September 21st, 1999, Cam was 8 months old. Cam's my engineer now. 8 months old. Incredible story. All right, hang in there, Kyle. We'll come back with you, give away more tickets here at Kilroy's with Bud Light for the game Sunday, and we're going to strap in for a Colts pregame huddle. It's coming up next, Colts Happy Hour. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.